This is Badass Billy Gunn, 11-time WWE Tag Team Champion, Intercontinental Champion, Hardcore Champion, and you're listening to ICOPOD. You gotta hear this. And if you're not listening to this, I got 2 words for you. Suck it.
And we're back with episode 47 of ICOPOD. I'm Bob Conley Jr. and my co-host, Austin Skinner. What's going on, man?
Bob, how was your Christmas?
Well, I know this is being released after Christmas, and I wouldn't know yet because I haven't had it.
Well, that's where you say, oh, it was lovely, Austin. How's yours?
No, that's not how that works. See, we're recording this on December 6th, and by my calculations, it will be... I think a couple of days after Christmas, probably by the time this is released. So future Bob would like to say Merry Christmas. And my Christmas was great. I got everything I wanted. My girlfriend gave me a bunch of sex and it was great.
I'm asking for a second girlfriend this Christmas.
Really? You want double the drama there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if anything, I would, if anything, I would downgrade.
Double or nothing. Well, you probably are downgraded by this point.
What does that mean?
That ship has probably sailed.
What are you talking about?
The clock has probably run out. Father Time.
What?
Yep. Father Time and Mother Christmas have just blessed you with everything you wanted and more.
This is as good as it gets, you think, for me?
Well, yeah. Bob's a single man at this point.
What? No. Okay, so you're saying that in the next, 6 weeks that I won't have a girlfriend anymore?
6 weeks?
Yeah.
Motherfucker, this is coming out in like 3 weeks.
This one?
I don't know.
Yeah, no, this one we have like 4 or 5 episodes still to be released.
Well, yeah, by then. That's a while.
Well, thanks, man. I'll make sure to go back and listen to this and see if it's true or not.
And
that'd be really depressing if we're predicting my relationship to end.
Well, you know what you'll say, Bob?
Quickly. Thank God.
No, you'll be like, well, you know.
Well, yeah, you're probably right.
You fucking dick.
That's usually my reaction to negative things, I guess.
Well, good thing you sent her ass home tonight so you could record because she'd be hearing all this shit.
Yeah, I was lying. She actually just walked out the door right now. She slammed the door, so she's not thrilled. So that's okay.
You know, predicting the future here on ICOPOD. You got to hear it.
That's my wife you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That's my future Helen Hart.
That's right, baby.
I'll be the stew. Rolling in the front row.
Yeah.
Not being able to tell which one's Owen and which one's Bret.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be my son.
Yeah.
Helen.
Yeah, Owen.
You gotta love it. All right, so December. This is technically December 6th when we are recording. Today we're doing the Survivor Series Showdown and Survivor Series shows, which you'll be hearing the next 2 weeks, and then we're taking like a month off. We'll be back.
Yeah, peace the fuck out.
Yeah, we won't be sitting down to record until 2019.
Hey,
and then we have 2 recordings to finish up December, and then we're into the year of 1994.
It's crazy, absolutely crazy.
I know. It feels like this is flying by for us.
Well, you got to think the first time we sat down, Bob, was 8 months ago. Longer than that.
February. It was February, yeah.
Yeah. So
February this year.
Yeah, quite a while. It's already we've yet to miss a week.
I was gonna say, yeah, we haven't missed anything.
Very proud of that. That's one of the things when me and Bob first sat down to even talk about this idea, I was always hesitant to commit because I'm the type where if I'm going to do something, I want it to be consistent and I want it to be the best it can be. So what that means is I was like, hey, Bob, if we do this, I want an episode out the same day, every week, once a week at least. So it's been a commitment, you know, especially with transit and moving down here to Florida. But I'm pretty proud of what we've been able to do, even if, it's a relatively humble podcast. And, I think it's something special that for those who have been listening throughout our journey have really enjoyed.
Well, I know that we joke quite a bit about how, 6.8 million listeners and stuff like that. Well, we're technically not even at a fraction of that. But
yeah.
The point of this is, and I think we've stated it before, is that we do this for fun. We do it to, in your case, maybe see things you've never seen before, or, maybe
Right.
not know much of. And, I've heard there's been people that will reach out to me and be like, they really like ICOPOD because it comes across as two friends just talking about wrestling. And that's exactly what it is. Neither one of us are quote unquote experts, or neither one of us are in the know.
Mm-hmm.
Neither one of us were there when it happened.
Right.
You weren't even born. I was about 4.
You want to recap where I was, Bob?
You were in your father's ball sacks, swimming around.
Yeah.
Trying to beat the other competitors.
There we go.
So that was happening. Meanwhile, I was like picking my nose and probably just a bunch of bad
at that point.
Yeah, for sure. Wet in the bed. Yeah. Probably still pooping my pants. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the point. We just like to bullshit, have some fun. And we've been doing it now for going on a year. We haven't missed a week, like you said. We have a few bonus episodes. You're coming back down to Syracuse through the holiday season. So that's another time we'll be doing, I don't know if we'll do another long ass recording day that we did, but
it's going to be so weird sitting by you again, right by you, knee to knee, like old time.
Probably gonna have to call the cops or something.
I know. I'm not going to be able to contain myself.
I know. Wait, what? What are we talking about?
Oh yeah, you might get lollered when I'm there.
Oh God. Oh shit.
That's right, baby.
No, that won't be good. No, but so I'm thinking for the bonus episode before we get into the regular thing here. Obviously, I think we should, maybe discuss this a little bit. We're gonna do Beach Blast '93.
Yeah,
that's a given. And then another one I was thinking about that we have not really discussed about on here at all. Eastern Championship Wrestling.
Ooh.
So, I believe it was like April or June or something like that, where they had Ultra Clash.
Okay.
93, which is one of their bigger events of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would maybe think it would be, I'm pretty sure I have that somewhere.
Okay.
And if I don't have it somewhere, I can easily obtain it from somewhere.
Right.
And we could watch that, which would probably be a shit show for the most part, but I think it's kind of important to catch up on it,
As well, yeah. And you know what? As long as you can obtain it somewhere, that means I can obtain it from you, wherever you've obtained it from.
Right.
So I don't think that would be a huge deal, although let's think back. Okay, it's 1993. Mm-hmm. Do you think Eastern Championship Wrestling is too niche, like a niche market for a regular fan to kind of come across and say a video store to where his WCW tapes are going to be there? Are we going to be able to get our hands on Eastern Championship Wrestling?
Well, as a regular subscriber to Pro Wrestling Illustrated, if I were to have that magazine and let's say see an advertisement for it, and it were to maybe catch my eye to purchase it for the low cost of $24.99 plus $6.95 shipping, maybe that would be inclined to buy it. Now, I don't think ECW was ever in a video store. Certainly not in 93.
No. Not
93. Well, later on, I'm sure.
2000 maybe.
Right, yeah. Like I know like their DVDs were like sellable. I don't know about rentable.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
I don't know when that would necessarily begin.
Right.
So I remember like the first time I bought an ECW one had to have been like 99, 2000. Yeah, around that time frame. And it was like Extreme Wrestling. What was it called? Like Revolution or something? It was a compilation.
Okay.
And it had like Raven Sandman, a barbed wire match, and like just insane matches. And I also had WrestlePalooza 97.
These were at the video store?
Yeah, it was at Media Play.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah, right in where is it? Mattydale. The one where you can still see like media play sign. It's been like 20 years since it's been there, but you can still see like the outline of the sign.
Yeah, were they right next to the porno DVDs? That's where the wrestling was right next to the porno ones.
That's where, I mean, I know that's where it would be at, like FYE and stuff. I don't remember media play. I remember, I don't want to get too much into the side conversation, but who cares? It's the opening, I guess. And there's no observer notes anyway, so this is probably just filling time.
Yeah, suck it.
But I remember, so like every year for like my birthday, I'd be like, I just want, VHS tapes at the time. That's pretty much what it was. So, but this was not like my birthday. This was like just a random trip, I think, or maybe it was for my birthday. But I was with my dad.
Okay.
So just to give you guys context here, if it was my birthday and I'm with my dad, I'm probably getting like 3 tapes. Mind you, the price was, I'll never forget because I had it memorized. It was $21.39. That's including tax. That's what it would come out to. Because the tapes were $19.99. The tax would be $21.39.
Yep. And
I always had it memorized. So with my dad, I'd always get about, I could probably get like 3 to 4.
Mm.
And then if I was with my mom, I'd get like 6 to 8 because my mom was like, fuck it, just go get whatever you want. She was like, whatever.
Right.
So I remember I was at the video store with my dad. I think a friend of mine, and I had gotten, what was it? It was Fully Loaded 2000.
Oh, okay.
King of the Ring 98. And I think I ended up getting WrestleMania 9. I think it was 9. But so like the fourth one was going to be WrestleMania 10 or WrestlePalooza 97.
Right.
And so like I was like, okay, I got to figure out a way. Like I think I went to my dad. I was like, can I get this one too for like the 5th one? He's like, no. I think his budget was probably like anything under $100. And
well, right.
That's what that in hindsight, that's probably what it was.
Right.
So I was like, I'm for sure getting Fully Loaded. So I remember like looking on the cover, I'm like Benoit, Rock, and like Triple H, Jericho, like fuck yeah, like no brainer.
Well, just as a side note too, the Fully Loaded shows were always pretty fucking good. Like every year they had, I think it was started in what, 99, 98.
Yeah, because I think there was a Fully Loaded 98 was like technically in your house, I think.
Yeah. So 98, 99, 2000, all Fully Loaded were fucking stacked, pretty good shows.
Well, Fully Loaded 2000, which we will get to in about 2025, it is arguably one of the most underrated shows and underappreciated shows because there's a really good cage match between like Rikishi and Val Venus and stuff on that show.
Mm-hmm.
But so I saw that the back of that, and mind you, I got like the PWI All-Max at the time. So this was probably like 2001.
Oh, okay.
Because like I would always want to see the results, and obviously those don't really matter anymore because of the internet,
right?
But I would always look through those. I'm like, oh fucking hey, like Jericho, Rock, Jericho, Triple H, and Rock, Benoit, blah blah. And then King of the Ring 98's an obvious one because it's like, Hell in a Cell, Mankind, and Taker, and I had never seen it in full, but you had always seen the highlights. So I was like, oh, I want to check that out.
Yep.
Austin Kane. And then like the King of the Ring and all that, the tournament, whatever. I was like, I gotta get that one too.
Yeah,
those are givens.
Mm-hmm.
So my main thing here was which WrestleMania would I get if I couldn't get all the tapes? Was it 9 or 10?
Right.
And I'm a big Money Incorporated mark, as we've mentioned before. No, I'm sorry, I'm way off. It's 8 and 9. WrestleMania 8 and 9.
Oh,
not 10. 8 and 9. So WrestleMania 8. The cover of it was like Flair and Savage, Hogan and Sid.
Yep.
And at the time, I don't think I really knew what the card was. So I looked on the back of it and I saw like IRS and Quake and a couple of other guys. I was like, oh shit, okay, like this is like I like these guys from like the Coliseum videos that I would have.
Mm-hmm.
And then WrestleMania 9 was like Yoko, Bret, and I saw Hogan on there or something, and I was just like, oh shit, which one do I get? So I knew I wanted to get WrestlePalooza 97 because it had like Raven and Dreamer
Right.
I mean, at the time, like 2001 or whatever, I really liked Raven.
Yeah.
So, and it was something different that I had never seen before. So I was like, I want to see that. So it was it was definitely WrestleMania 8 and 9. And I ended up putting 9 back and I took 8. And 8 ended up to be the, obviously the best decision that I ever made. So that was usually the 4. And then like the next year with my mom, I got like 6. Like I'm not even kidding. It was like King of the Ring 2001. It was like fucking Armageddon 2000. It was like a shit ton.
Clean
My
sweep.
mom, when it came to that stuff, my mom was just like, no, because she was like, number 1, you're probably gonna have these forever. Number 2, they're like 3 hours long, so I won't have to deal with you, and then like don't have to worry about it. So I was like, cool. I don't have them anymore. I like sold them or something, but
I was gonna ask if you had them. I thought you would have.
no. Back in the day when I was tape trading, I got rid of them for like season sets of stuff.
Oh, okay.
Which ironically, I don't need those either because of the network, really. But yeah, I had gotten rid of them because like everything was transitioning to DVD.
Well,
I had all these VHSs.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't really need them.
Because kind of touching on that story there, I believe WrestleMania 8 ended up being what, your favorite WrestleMania?
WrestleMania 8 is my favorite WrestleMania. One of my favorite WrestleManias. WrestleMania 17 is my all-time favorite.
Well, yeah.
If I had to choose like my top 5, 3 or whatever, 17 for sure. 8, 7.
7, really?
I like WrestleMania 7. Yeah.
Okay.
20.
Yeah.
And probably 18.
I was hoping 18 would make your list. That one's definitely mine.
Just for Hogan Rock. I mean, if you watch Hogan Rock on mute, it's probably not as great, but with that crowd, it's pretty insane.
Yeah.
WrestleMania 19 is pretty good too, really.
Yeah. It's
21 is all right.
Is that WrestleMania Goes Hollywood?
21 is, yeah.
Yeah.
19 they're in Seattle.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Safeco Field.
Yeah, it's a pretty good visual too.
Yeah.
For there. But yeah, so anyway, that's what the mindset there. I would think maybe we could do Ultra Clash or whichever. I know there's like a Eddie Gilbert, Terry Funk like chain match or something.
Ho.
Which is like the main event of that show. So
now you're talking my language.
Yeah, I feel like we're both, big Gilbert fans. We appreciate his work, so
yes,
that could be fun to watch.
I'm down.
Yeah,
something different. Let's mix it up, baby.
Yeah. So, and I'm really looking forward actually to seeing the remainder of '93 WCW wise on pay-per-view because like Halloween Havoc '93 is one of my favorite pay-per-views, and then. I mean, we're definitely skipping Battle Bowl, like I've mentioned. I'm not sitting through that. That's just bullshit. And Starcade. So those should all be pretty interesting to see. So
for sure.
But before we get to any of that stuff, we got to get through this recording as my phone just blew up a little bit here. But it's episode 47. Our focus here is Survivor Series Showdown. I have no observer notes like I mentioned. So let's just get into 2 house shows real quick. The first one happened in Cadillac, Michigan, November 19th, 1993, with a crowd of 3,500. The show featured Men on a Mission taking on Tom Stone and Barry Horowitz. The Brooklyn Brawler taking on Brian Costello. Bastion Booger against Virgil. Diesel taking on Bob Backlund. WWF Intercontinental Champion Razor Ramon defending against IRS. And in the main event, WWF World Champion Yokozuna defending against The Undertaker in a non-title casket match.
Well, that's fucking bullshit.
Oh, you let out a pretty big yawn as soon as I got to the Brooklyn Brawler. So I knew that we were probably in trouble there. So.
Yeah. No, thank you to that one.
Yeah, I don't think I would go to. I mean, it's obviously a 2-match card. Ramon IRS and Taker Yokozuna. So
yeah, no question about it. And it's so crazy to just think the house shows that we were getting a mere couple of weeks ago and just the complete nosedive once again to either there's some hidden gems and it might not be too bad, or you probably don't need to go to that one. It's usually one or the other.
Yeah.
So
I don't think they should have ever gone back to the two rotation here, A and B.
Yeah, I agree. Because not only are you oversaturating your product, you're stretching it too thin. Between like talent wise, it's just too thin.
They don't have the depth like they did in the 80s.
No.
So the second one took place in Syracuse, New York.
Were you there, Bob?
No, I was not.
What a bitch.
I was still in Massachusetts at the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't get here. I didn't get to Syracuse until 90. Yeah, it had to be 94.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
94, 95. So I went to the first In Your House in May of 95.
Right.
So I think it was like the fall of 94, roughly, maybe.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. So it is at the War Memorial. It was also November 19th, 1993, and the crowd was a reported 2,150. So that's not great. That's that's definitely less than half of capacity.
What do you think just as a side note here, what do you think the War Memorial gets for the house shows these days?
Depends on the card. I remember
that.
No, they get more than that.
Really?
Yeah, because the one that I went to, well, this was years ago, I guess, but it was Jericho Punk was near sellout.
Oh, wow.
In 2013, was it?
I have no idea. I don't think I went to that one with you.
Yeah, I don't think you did. I went with like Joe and some girl that he was dating at the time. I think. Was it? Who was it? Savannah. Maybe it was Savannah.
What about Dallas? Dallas wasn't there?
No, he was, but I think it was like front row.
Oh, him and Jeremy got good.
Jeremy.
Didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah, and they had like a sign and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really good too because they had like Cena, Ziggler, and stuff. That was a near sellout.
Okay.
There was one where like Roman was a main event and they didn't do well. So that was probably like under 21.
Yeah.
But no, I would say more times than not they definitely do more. If I had to guess, because like, let's say there's what, 5, it's probably like at least a 5,000 seat arena, right?
Yeah. I would say so.
Yeah, if on average in the last few years, I'd probably say they're doing at least 25 to 26.
Wow. All right. Well,
they're probably doing at least that.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So the card for that featured 1, 2, 3 Kid taking on Johnny Polo, Doink the Clown taking on Iron Mike Sharp, WWF Tag Team Champion Quebecer Jacques, taking on Rick Steiner, Ludwig Borga taking on Lex Luger, Owen Hart met Adam Bomb in singles action, Smoky Mountain Wrestling Tag Team Champions, the Rock and Roll Express, took on the Head Shrinkers in a non-title match. And the main event saw Bret Hart taking on Shawn Michaels, who was a substitute for Jerry Lawler, and that took place inside of a steel cage.
Holy shit, that's a pretty stacked card.
Far better than the first.
Yeah. Not only that, we're getting a cage match with Shawn and Bret. That's pretty cool. We got Owen Bomb, which, that might have been kind of a sleeper. We'll see. See what happens there. Who's 1, 2, 3 Kid got in the beginning?
Johnny Polo.
Bizarre, but maybe interesting to see like what Polo can do.
Well, it makes sense considering the stuff we saw on Raw recently.
Right. So maybe to kind of follow along with that, see what Polo does in the ring. Yeah. Really, really interesting rock and roll and head shrinkers.
That would be probably fun just because the Express, I would have to think, would sell really well for that.
Yeah, like that was probably a pretty decent match if they got a decent amount of time. So, yes, I'm going to that, and I'm probably buying a pretty decent ticket.
I would too. I would go front row if Jerry Lawler was not substituted out.
Really? So Lawler would have sold you more than Shawn?
Oh yeah. I remember when they were doing this match when we did like a USWA show, and I was like, I'm fucking going front row. I would do the same thing here.
True. That's true.
So I'd probably still get a pretty good seat because it's Bret, Shawn, and they're probably capable of having a good cage match. But but like Owen and Adam Bomb,
right?
I mean, that's capable. The same thing with the Shrinkers and Express, probably pretty good. I could sit through Luger and Borga, maybe just heckle them or something.
Hey, you know what? And that's a high profile match right now. So
yeah,
there you go.
And then you also have Rick and Jacques.
Yeah,
it's a top level tag feud,
Yep.
In a singles match. But
yep.
and 1, 2, 3 could probably be fun to watch too, up close and stuff.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, to see kind of his flashier moves closer to the front. Absolutely.
That's definitely the stronger show, which is interesting because usually the show that the WWF World Champion is on is usually considered the A show, but there's no way. Well, him and the IC champion, so Ramon and Yoko, there's no way that their show's considered the A loop. There's just no way.
Right. Well, it's funny because sometimes I feel like it's either like that. So the champ's on the A show, main guys on the A show, secondary guys on B show. It's either like that, or I feel like it's 2 or 3 major names who probably get most of the payout and then just trash.
Yeah.
With a more even show, but not as many of the tippy top, belt holders on the other show. So the money's spread a little bit more evenly. But I feel like that can, that happens quite a bit too, where they stack it with, like I said, 3 or 4 main guys. They probably get most of the money or whatever. And then just they fill out the rest of the skeleton with BS. And then they have the other show that tends to be better on paper anyway.
Well, it's funny you mention that because the Cadillac Michigan show did 3,500 compared to about 20 or just under 2,200 for Syracuse. So obviously, like Taker, Yoko, and Ramon and IRS, they're all getting the money.
Yeah, they're getting
3,500.
Right.
But then you look at the Syracuse show, which did a lower attendance figure, and you have arguably more names.
Well,
like Luger and Borga and Bret and Shawn. I mean, Rick and Quebec or Jacques were probably trying to get a decent amount out of there.
Yeah, probably.
But their payouts are probably based off of the house. So if that's a poor performing, then they're just not going to get as much money than they should have, maybe.
Right. To whereas the other team probably will, which maybe quote unquote, that's why they're the A team. They're making more money.
With the world title.
Yeah.
That's probably a major draw too. Like, oh, go see the world champion.
Right. It's a spectacle. I mean, Undertaker, Yoko, that's a spectacle match.
And it's a casket match too.
Yeah.
So I'm sure going to Syracuse, though, I'd skip out on Cadillac.
Same.
Go into some syndication. This week it's just mainly 2 matches that we're going to be covering. The first one being Bret Hart taking on IRS. And this took place on WWF Superstars, November 20th, 1993. IRS attacks before the bell, and he puts Hart's glasses on to taunt him. And IRS goes flying over the top rope to the floor. Hart keeps control in the ring with some basic strikes, and they focus mainly on mat wrestling for the next several minutes. IRS gets out of a headlock with a back suplex, but Bret gets the hold back on quickly. IRS breaks free with a knee breaker and works over Hart's left knee. At this point, Mr. Fuji has made his way down to ringside with the Japanese flag. IRS leg drops Hart between his legs to maintain the advantage and nearly wins after a leg drop. Hart almost wins with a sunset flip. Hart gets distracted by Fuji, who touched his ankle, and IRS gets a cheap advantage again. Hart slides to the floor and he decks Fuji. Hart drops IRS throat first over the top rope. Yokozuna and Jim Cornette make their way down to ringside as Hart hit a side Russian leg sweep, and then Hart almost wins the match with an inside cradle. Hart continues with the backbreaker and leaps off the middle rope for a forearm drop for a 2 count. Fuji then jabs Hart with the flag, and that causes a disqualification. Owen Hart runs into the ring, and he attacks IRS, ramming his head into the turnbuckle several times. Bret drop kicks Yoko off the apron, and sees Yoko kind of comically falls down to the ground as Bret and Yoko are held back by several officials. What did you think of this little feature match on Superstars?
So, pretty run of the mill, to be honest with you. I was expecting a little bit more just because I'm an IRS fan. I know he can work. I know, of course, Bret can work, and I'm a fan of his. So I guess I was going in a little, I don't know, a little bit biased into this match, hoping that we were.
You had high expectations.
I had high expectations
for IRS. Yeah.
Yes, I did. Yeah, you know, it's the crowd was reacting. Don't get me wrong. You know, lazy finish. No surprise there, though, really. I thought it was cool to see Owen and Bret stand tall as like a united front at the end because it's still such a juxtaposed team. Like, because Owen's in such a different time in his career and, you know, compared to Bret. So anytime, you know, we get that during this time, I think is cool. Commentary, I want to make note of that either Dusty Rhodes was on commentary or Bruce Pritchard was doing, you know, one of his famous interpretations, let's say, of Dusty Rhodes because, fuck, it sounded just like him.
Yeah, that's Bruce Pritchard as Rio Rogers.
I was gonna say at the one point, I believe Vince or whoever is on commentary, he goes, "Oh, okay, Rio." It's like Rio Rogers. So I'm like, who the fuck is that? I had no idea. I didn't even know Pritchard was on TV other than anybody, you know, Bruce Pritchard or Brother Love. Like, I didn't know he played another character or whatever.
Yeah.
So that was pretty funny. He was doing a pretty good job. He also mentions that the Harts have invited him and Shawn Michaels to their house for Thanksgiving this year. So I'm very interested to see what the fuck that's going to be because I have no idea. I don't know if they're literally going to go to the Harts house and like knock on the door and try to get in or what's going to happen with that. So other than that, like I said, as far as the match, not a fan of the finish. If you skip this one, you ain't really missing much. It's more or less just more build up to Survivor Series and kind of what's going on.
Well, as I've said before in this episode when talking about VHS tapes and whatnot, that I was a Big Money Incorporated mark.
Yeah. Yep.
And as it pertains to IRS in a singles role, I could not be more of an opposite. He is one of the most boring, uninteresting workers in a singles capacity that we will probably cover on this podcast. And I have 2.5 years of this run to still go through with you, depending on how long we do ICOPOD for. That is I believe he's there until like August of 95. So it's going to be a while.
Yeah.
I mean, his trademark in these fucking matches is always the headlock, hammerlock, the abdominal stretch, using the ropes for leverage with the abdominals.
Yep.
It's just constant wrestles. It's such a 1985 mentality. And the thing with like DiBiase and Money Incorporated is like DiBiase kind of brought the personality.
Yeah, it kind of helped fill in the blanks, basically.
Yeah, and DiBiase actually had like a move set.
Yeah,
you know, he actually would do moves. I don't really think IRS has much of anything aside from like a lariat.
Well, I was just gonna put him over for two things.
He's a good promo.
Okay, three things.
Yeah,
so
his heel tactics on the mic, I can get behind, but after that, it's just bad.
Yeah, I think his mic work gets by. I don't think by no means.
He's not like a top tier.
He's not even Ted DiBiase.
No.
So he gets by on the mic. He's got a pretty good clothesline, and if nothing else, I think his wrestling is believable. Like, he's pretty impactful with his moves, I think. Albeit kind of slow for sure. The abdominal stretch thing with the leverage for the ropes every fucking match, multiple times during the match, he does it. So absolutely. It's funny that you mention it because I clicked the video kind of to see where I was at on time. I thought it had been at least 15 minutes. I was at 8 minutes.
Right. That's going to be every single IRS match. Even if it's like a 6-minute quick feature match, you're going to think you've been watching it for 15 minutes and you're going to look at it like, oh, it's been 4.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I definitely get what you're saying there. Yeah. I'm still going to be an IRS fan, I think. I'm sure I'll jump off that train at some point. But as of right now, I'm still with it. But yes, it's very. You got to have patience for sure. You do.
It's a decent match. It's clearly setting up the not setting up, but kind of continuing and adding some more promotion to the Bret Yoko match taking place on the Showdown.
Right.
But it's funny you mentioned about I'm sure I'll jump off the IRS thing. I'm going to give a challenge to the listeners, and I want you guys, someone, Mike Campbell or whoever. I feel like Campbell would do it more than anybody else, but
okay,
anybody. I want you guys, whether you have to go back and listen to the episodes or maybe off the top of your head, who are some wrestlers that we've jumped off the train? Like like for me, I know for sure, I know for two guys off the bat.
Yes.
I'm not going to list right now because I'm doing someone's job for them. But there's two of them.
I know 3 of yours that you've jumped off the boat.
Who would be the third one?
You don't want to admit it, but
I mean, if it's my boy, I have not jumped off that train yet.
Jumped off the goddamn boat.
I don't know, man. I don't think so. So there's 2 or 3, I guess, technically for me at this point that at first I was like, yeah, man, I'm sold. Let's go. And it just kind of dwindles down. And then I know for Austin, like there's been a few that you've been like, hey, I'm digging this. And then like you just fall through. So I'm curious to see how, first off, I guess who maybe does it more, or who they are. I mean, I know 2 or 3 of mine, but I don't necessarily remember yours. And it'll be interesting to see like if you do fall off the train for IRS, like when is it? How long does it take?
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, it's almost the opposite for me because I start out not giving a fuck. And then they win me over to whereas you start out giving a fuck and then you're done after.
Yeah, like they do something stupid.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I hate that guy now because that was dumb.
I know one of mine for sure. I think it's one we share though, really.
Should we just list them? And then if we're wrong, people can be like, okay. Okay. So for me, it's Bob Backlund at the Royal Rumble.
Fucking A it is.
Like that was quick too. I was like, I was sold on him. And then by like March, I was like, fuck off my television. Crush.
Yes.
When he was a babyface. I'm kind of back on him now as a heel, but
really?
I'm digging the heel. I'm dealing heel Crush. So I guess I kind of gone back to him. That's weird. But interesting. Yeah, when he was as a face, so that was rough. And then I mean, technically, I wouldn't really consider Tatanka as someone that I've jumped off the train with.
Oh, how about Luger?
No, I don't like Luger.
Yeah, you've jumped off the train. You like the narcissist.
Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yep. You're right. Yeah. I thought the narcissist was a promising heel character.
Right.
And then ever since he was like, oh, my dad made me ask girls out on dates. I'm going to join the football team. Fucking A.
See, that's how we differ. Because like I said, at first I didn't give a fuck. Now I'm like, all right.
You were naked on that damn Lex Express. You were like spreading your butt cheeks and you're like, Luger, you rammed that metal rod right in, dude. Let's do this.
Holy fuck. Well, going back to our list here, I definitely think Doink is one of mine where I really was high on Doink. And at this point, dude, and over the last, I would say 2 months, I don't give a fuck about Doink.
Ever since SummerSlam.
Yeah, like I just don't care. I don't care. And it sucks because Matt Bourne Doink, I like it. And it's just they've made me not like it. So I know he's definitely one for me. I'm trying to think of other ones too. I'm not quite sure.
That you've jumped off on?
Yeah. I know I'm still on the Adam Bomb train.
Mm-hmm. I am too.
Yeah, I'm still good with him. Yoko, I think I've jumped off at this point. I was a big proponent of Yoko, a handful of months.
Okay. So it's funny you mentioned that. Because this ties into what we had talked about with Bret and IRS. I would still say that I'm on the Yoko train.
Yeah.
But in the aftermath on this show, or in this match, when Bret drop kicked him, the way that he took the bump was like comical.
Well, he's
a big fat guy, and he's like, whoa.
Yeah.
I didn't like that.
Well, because he gets drop kicked, so he lands on his feet on the outside, and then like starts selling it. It was so just ridiculous. And it's things like that where they've just built up, and it's like little by little, it's like a drop in the bucket, drop in the bucket, drop in the bucket. At this point, my bucket's overrun and it's poured out.
Yeah, they're taking away his. They're slowly stripping away him as a monster.
Yes, his mystique is starting to break up. Like there's really no mystery behind Yokozuna anymore, or at least not nearly as much as there was. Yeah. So, as much as I think, the whole partnership with Cornette and the rallying behind the fellow heels makes sense, I don't think Fuji and Yoko, the pairing, ever really needed that. Just leave them alone. Let them do their own thing, And the train kind of came off the tracks, much before that, but regardless.
I'm trying to think of another one. I mean, I think I'm on the Diesel train now, a little bit.
See? I'm telling you.
Head Shrinkers, I'm still on them.
Yeah, me too.
Are you off the Heavenly Bodies?
No. Like I'm still, let's put it this way. So when a Heavenly Bodies match pops up on a card or, next week we're going to see, I'm still interested because these are two guys that I haven't seen really anything of other than what we've seen thus far. Didn't even know who they were before then. Didn't even know they existed before then. I mean, not as a team, I knew Tom Pritchard was, but beyond that, I would say I'm still on the train. I think they show us stuff that you don't regularly see, like on Raw or Superstars, so that's a plus.
They definitely have like a fresh moveset.
Yeah, style. And they're different. You know what I mean? They just feel different. So I'm still a fan. I'm still on the train.
What about Jannetty?
I just, I have a soft spot for Marty, but I'd say I probably am off the train at this point. Just because I know as soon as I'm like, oh my God, I'm on the train again, he's gonna like let me down. And I just don't want to set myself up for it anymore.
Yeah, I think I'm like definitely interested. I like Marty Jannetty.
Me too.
But the thing is when we watched the syndicated match with him and Adam Bomb, and when he came out, you just knew that he knew he was losing.
Yes.
Like stuff like that bugs me.
Well, I guess I should phrase it this way. Do I like Marty Jannetty? Yes. Do I believe in Marty Jannetty? Not at this point. No.
I think he's one of the more underrated guys, especially when he's got his head on right and he's really trying. So
for sure. And it's crazy for me to even think of how little, amount of appreciation I had for him before this. Because I was always in the mindset like he was the one that didn't matter. Like he wasn't really good or whatever. He just fell by the wayside. You never hear from him again. That's not the case. Marty Jannetty, I would argue, might have had more natural talent in the ring than Shawn Michaels did. Maybe not as much personality, but when it came to delivering in wrestling, I would say even right up until this point, like you said, when he's got his head on straight, Marty Jannetty can have a fucking match, and Marty Jannetty makes it look easy. Like he's not even breaking a fucking sweat in the ring. Yeah, he's fucking huffing and puffing, like dragging ass.
Well, I think they both had demons, but Shawn was able to somehow control them to an extent, while Jannetty just was incapable.
He just succumbed to him and let him kind of ruin his career.
Yeah, that was definitely the case. Well, speaking of Marty Jannetty and Diesel, two guys that were both having various thoughts on, they squared off on the November 21st, 1993 edition of Wrestling Challenge. The match starts off with Jannetty avoiding Diesel in the corner, and he delivers a few strikes. Then Diesel gains control with some strikes and a slam. Marty avoids a clothesline and counters a slam with an inside cradle. Diesel knee lifts Jannetty and delivers a few more strikes. Marty hits a head scissors and he drop kicks the big man, to the floor. Jannetty takes Diesel out with a slingshot crossbody to the outside. Diesel sends Jannetty into the ring post side first, and then he focuses his attack on Marty's lower back. WWF Intercontinental Champion Razor Ramon makes his way down to the ring as Diesel side slams Jannetty. Diesel big boots Jannetty and then goes to the apron to confront Ramon. They're trading some verbal jabs here, and Ramon tosses his toothpick at Diesel, which causes Diesel to be like flailing around a little bit here. Marty punches Diesel off the apron, and then Diesel ends up having his leg tied up in the ropes, and he's hanging upside down on the apron and is counted out. So Marty gets the win by count out. After the match, Diesel tries to attack Jannetty, but Marty's able to escape the ring. Ramon's on the aisleway there, kind of proud of what he's done. Realistically, I mean, this isn't really much of anything, much of a match, but I figure we documented it because these guys are part of the Survivor Series pay-per-view. They're involved in the same match. Clearly has some more angle development. Only thing I really got from it was that finish for a guy like Diesel was rather silly. You got this monster of a guy, 6'10", 7 foot, whatever you want to promote him this week as being. And he's hanging upside down on the apron. Mind you, if he were to maybe sit up and grab the top rope, he would have gotten himself loose. But suspend your disbelief. Maybe you think Diesel's an idiot. What did you think of this one, Austin?
So I had a couple points actually about this match that I'd like to cover. First of all, I wasn't expecting it to go very long. I pretty much expected more or less a squash for Diesel here, even though it is Marty Jannetty. It's Marty Jannetty kind of thing. Video was about 5 minutes and change, so there you go. Take that for what it was. I noticed that JR, as Diesel was coming out, called him an assassin and a former bodyguard. So I wasn't sure if we were supposed to take that as he's not playing second fiddle to Shawn Michaels anymore, or JR's referencing him as a bouncer, like in a past life. But
I think it's the bouncer part.
Well, either way, I thought it was kind of an interesting...
Yeah, that's how I took it. That's how I took it, at least.
Yeah, I thought it was a kind of interesting note for JR to make there. Marty's still getting good reactions, even though, you know, as of late, I guess Marty doesn't really deserve great reactions, but he's still getting them, and that's based on he's a fan favorite, ladies and gentlemen. Diesel, again, laying his shit in early here. I mean, really giving Marty no time to even, like, post off Diesel's leg in a body slam. Diesel's just throwing the body slam. Like, fuck you.
Yeah.
You're taking it right now. So, you know, with such things considered, I think the only place where we are a little bit different, Bob, and I think you're going to be surprised, is I didn't mind the finish. And the reason I didn't mind it is because it was fucking different. It wasn't a fucking, I'm going to hold you and get you counted out. It's not an I'm going to distract you. It's a roll up. It's a distraction, but I think what it comes down to is the execution. I am fucking floored that Nash was able to pull off the hanging up in the ropes as cleanly as he did, because I figured Nash would fuck that up. But no, it looked pretty good, like the way he got into it or whatever and fell into it. So all things considered, there's been worse finishes, I thought. Is it silly? Yes, but so is the most of what we've seen on TV lately. So I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt here. I thought it was a decent match. Other than that, that's about it. I mean, I don't think the Diesel Razor thing makes much sense. It feels like it's kind of coming out of nowhere again. And I think Razor Ramon's plagued by that. Like, he just is thrust into these things. Like, okay, we don't know what to do with Razor. Here he comes. He's going to come distract Diesel. I don't know. I mean, what do you think of the? My whole thing is why would Razor Ramon, the IC champion, care about some bodyguard guy?
Okay, so I'll go with the finish thing first. I'll give him credit that it's different.
It's different.
It is different. But sometimes different doesn't necessarily mean good. So, because my main problem is the same thing with the Yokozuna. Mind you, this is all happening on the same weekend of television.
Yeah.
So, Yokozuna is made to be presented. Mind you, both these guys are supposed to be like monster heels. That's how it's been interpreted.
Big guys, intimidating.
Yeah, that's how they've been presented.
Yeah.
And they have Yoko like falling down, and then you have Diesel upside down on the apron because he got kicked. To me, that diminishes a menacing character. I mean, you look at it's like Sid Vicious. So let's use WrestleMania 8 as an example. Sid Vicious is destroying jobbers, enhancement guys every week leading into WrestleMania 8 for his match against Hulk Hogan. What if, and I don't want to, the comparison here is not accurate, but let's just, for the sake of the argument here, let's say Hogan were to come out on Superstars, a week before WrestleMania during a Sid Justice match, Sid Vicious match, whichever you want to call him. He's had about 9 different names. And Sid's fighting Virgil. Okay. Virgil is like in 92 might be on near the same level as Jannetty in terms of popularity.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's a stretch. Hogan's on the aisleway distracting Sid Vicious. I think I've now changed his name 3 different times. So he's Sid Justice, for Christ's sakes. Okay, let's just say, I'll just say Sid.
Yeah, Sid. There you go.
Virgil punches him on the apron due to Hogan's distraction. Sid Justice is upside down on the apron. It gets counted out. I am telling you right now, this is the same guy that's been putting people on a stretcher, throwing them into the guard railing, ring post, whichever. If that were to happen, and I'm watching it, and it's a week before WrestleMania, it could be a month before WrestleMania, it could be 6 months before WrestleMania. As long as I know that Sid is fighting Hogan, I wouldn't fucking care about Sid because he would look like a dope. So now with Diesel, and I had just said that I'm on the train, and I'm still on his train, but I think there's potential there, and I think that as he grows along here, he'll do fairly well. But in this context, it's like, first of all, it's not even like a drop kick. It's not like a missile drop kick.
Yeah, no.
It's a punch.
Yeah.
And he's upside down. And he gets counted out. No. I did not like that. I didn't think it was I would have to think in their mind they're trying to protect Diesel or something. And they protected him in the sense that he didn't get pinned or anything, but they did not protect him in the sense of not making him look like an absolute idiot.
Well, here's my thing. Isn't that where we're supposed to think of Diesel? I mean, we've seen his promos. He sounds like an idiot. Isn't he just like a big, strong,
but he should be
kind of thing?
Well, he should be presented as an idiot who talks, but in the ring, he's a guy that's going to break your neck.
Or gets it done. Yeah.
Yeah. And then to answer your second question about him and Razor Ramon, see, this all ties in together. First, like Razor Ramon's in like 3 different feuds right now. He's got IRS,
man. Yeah.
4. He's like in 4, really.
He never gets a He never gets a blow off.
Right, because he's got Martel, which that is probably done. I mean, he beat him on Raw, and he had like a count out victory on Superstars or whatever. But that's one. So him and Martel, Ramon and Martel, Ramon and IRS.
Yes.
Ramon and Shawn.
Yeah. Michaels
to an extent so far. And then by default, Ramon and Diesel, since Diesel still has that connection to Shawn. So he's in like 4 different feuds right now. Right. So that would mean that would likely understand why there's that interaction on this episode or on this match,
I guess.
And plus the Survivor Series match, they're on opposite teams. So it all kind of ties in together, I guess. But
I guess in a loose sort of way. But again, I think they're like overexposing Ramon. Like, just let him do his thing and like stop having him interfere and feud with fucking 4 different guys. Because if you think even when he was a heel, he was feuding with Backlund at the same time as like 1, 2, 3 Kid, and like he, you know what I mean, all these different guys, and Ted DiBiase at one point too, wasn't he? Yeah, the $1 Million Man came out of nowhere.
Yeah, but that was, I think, after the Kid matches.
Right, but it's
but
just
he was still being presented as a heel, and then like DiBiase came out and was like, "Oh, I'll just make him my maid." And then even when that happened, we were both like, "That came out of nowhere."
Right, and I think that just kind of goes to back up my point a little bit that they're just so desperate to get Ramon on TV and like in segments. I almost feel like they're using him too much. It reminds me of when I would play fucking EWR, right? And your favorite guys on your roster, you put them in like 2 segments in a match, and then the guy reviews it. He's like, "Oh, you overexposed this guy." It's like, right. Well, what the fuck? You know what I mean? That's what it kind of feels like. You overexposed them.
Well, EWR is one of the greatest games ever.
Absolutely.
I used to play that at hours on end.
I want a mobile version. I want it on my phone.
If that was, I would never get anything done.
Good, me neither.
Especially at work. Are you kidding me? I'd just be in the freezer all day. Be like, I gotta book Perry Saturn to be world champion. How do I do it?
Yeah.
Refusing the job to him. What the hell? You know? All right. Well, that wraps up our syndication. So let's get into the Survivor Series Showdown, 1993. This was taped, obviously, and it was taped in 2 different locations. The first one was Delhi, New York, and the second was Bushkill, Pennsylvania. The show aired on November 21st, 1993. The show starts off with footage from WWF Superstars, where Mr. Fuji came down to ringside, distracted Bret Hart during his match with IRS. That brought out Yokozuna and Jim Cornette. As the match continued, Fuji hit Bret with a flag, and then Hart came out, and then Bret dropkicked Yoko off the apron, and obviously Yoko humorously fell down. So we already covered that.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Survivor Series Showdown opening video. We then go to Vince McMahon, Bobby Heenan. They promote the show highlighting Yokozuna, Bret Hart for the WWF World Championship. Heenan is worried that Bret Hart could win the WWF World Championship. As noted here, the show will be taking place in 2 different locations, and that's because we have 2 different broadcast groups here. The second team is Jim Ross and Gorilla Monsoon. They promote probably a bigger match than Bret Yoko. They promote Bash and Booger taking on Doink the Clown. They don't know how many doinks they will see tonight. Also tonight, IRS will be taking on Marty Jannetty, which JR kind of promoted as being a sure thing classic.
Oh, yeah.
Surely going to be a classic today. I rolled my eyes at that one. Heenan says that Rio Rogers will be talking to Shawn Michaels, and they'll be going into the Hart House to interview Helen and Stu Hart.
Boy. And right here, Bob, I'm thinking, okay, either this is going to be the most awkward fucking segment of all time, and they're going to actually go to the Hart House, actually knock on the door, and actually sit in their living room and talk to them and like make fun of them, or it's a gimmick. Like some bullshit's going to happen. So personally, I couldn't fucking wait to see what was going to happen because I have no memory at all of this time. Like November 93, I know nothing. I've seen matches at Survivor Series, I think but two matches at Survivor Series I've seen before. Other than that, the storyline surround it, like I didn't even know Bret and Shawn had a goings on at this time. Had no idea. So I was just really, really looking forward to what that was going to be. Also, I think it's very funny that poor Gorilla and JR have to try and, put through their excitement because it's obvious that they're on the shittier show. It's so odd.
Yeah. Well, the Shawn Michaels thing, obviously he's a substitute for Jerry Lawler. So this segment with Jerry Lawler would have been far more effective.
Oh, for sure.
Way better. But this was their attempt to, I guess, kind of just force it onto Shawn to give him more of a reason as to why he's involved in the match. So it's just a forced like angle development.
Have you seen what happens before, Bob? Have you seen that before sitting down watching this?
Before seeing that, I don't remember ever seeing it previous. Like I've never seen Survivor Series Showdown '93
Right.
prior to doing this. So no, I don't recall ever seeing that segment.
I don't think I've ever seen it. I've never heard anybody talk about it. And I think it's pretty underrated in that sense because when we get to it, I'm going to revel in the fact that I'll be hopefully taking the reins on that one.
Well, you can when we get to it. I don't know if many people have ever seen it because I mean it was under the Hidden Gem category on the network. So
right.
I have to imagine not. I mean, unless you saw it live, maybe you haven't seen it since.
Right.
We go into our first match of the evening, and boy, is it a bar burner. It is Bastion Booger taking on Doink the Clown. For me, this has got to be the greatest example of what WWF 1993 is all about. You have a gargoyle against a clown.
Yeah.
So, Merry Christmas. Booger tries to use a scooter on the floor and proceeds to fall down. Comedy! Ha ha! Doink sprays water into Booger's face. More comedy. Gotta love it. Booger misses a few splashes in the corner and he's met with a kick to the butt. Falls over as Doink knelt on the mat. Booger splashes Doink against the ring post to get control of the contest. Doink gets knocked to the floor a few times. Booger keeps control with basic strikes and a leg drop. Doink gets clotheslined and he tricks Booger into thinking that he won the match as he was patting Booger's back, which is, I guess, usually what the referee does. So Booger's like, yeah, I did it. Well, he didn't because Doink comes up and he wins with a roll-up. Needless to say, that was fucking awful. Not good in the slightest. I don't know why or how, what could possibly be the reason as to why Bastion Booger has a job. I don't understand. This is just baffling. I don't get it. It is brutal. This was a brutal match to watch. Like, this isn't brutal like Mike Awesome, Masato Tanaka, ECW 98. Like, holy shit, that's brutal. No, this is brutal like Jake Roberts beyond the mat. He's got chocolate pudding on his t-shirt and he don't know how to got it there. That type of brutal. It was bad.
I would say thus far, this is probably single-handedly the most embarrassing match we've seen. It was a fucking... So you know how when you go to an indie show, and let's say it's not a great indie, it's a pretty underground indie show, and you get two J-Brones in there, and they're comedy guys, and their comedy fucking sucks. That's what this is. This was a bad indie comedy match. So fucking they're in the ring, and like Bob says, Doink basically says to Booger, hey, go out and try my bike. So Booger goes out and tries the bike, fucking telegraphs the shit out of falling off. Just fucking so phony and shitty that it was, again, embarrassing. The kicks to the butt, the stomp on the toe with the squirting of the glass, like the glasses in his face. Just, and then the tap on the shoulder to make Booger come off the pin. Like, fucking confusing, ridiculous. It wasn't funny. Like, there was nothing funny about this match. I don't even know how much, like, the live crowd was laughing, really. My mind is literally blown with this. First of all, this guy didn't even look like Matt Bourne. I don't even know if it's Matt Bourne anymore at this point.
I don't think it is Matt Bourne.
He has been on the screens. Like, either they filmed that footage a long time ago or whatever, but that Doink is Matt Bourne. This Doink does not look like Matt Bourne at all. So we got that. So it's probably a bonus or a bogus Doink at this point. It's Bastion Booger, who fucking sucks. Like, there's nothing good about Bastion Booger at all. It's just frustrating. I'm at a loss for words. It was just so whatever. We get the finish. Booger originally came out with a pizza box, right? So he sets the pizza box in the corner. They have this fucking horrendous match. At least it didn't go too long. The match finishes. Booger comes off the pin, thinking he had won, gets rolled up, yada yada. Doink then grabs a bottle of Tabasco sauce, so hot sauce, and squirts the hot sauce on the 2 slices of pizza that's in the box. He hides and waits for Booger to go down and bite the pizza. So Bastion Booger proceeds to open up the box, takes one little bite of the pizza, and sells it as if he's just swallowed arsenic, and it's literally burning his throat from the inside out. It was so oversold. It was like he swallowed a whole ghost pepper down his fucking throat. Just ridiculous. And mind you, they showed us the bottle, and it's just Tabasco sauce. You get this big, huge fucking guy, and he's so much of a puss, he can't even handle a couple dabbles of Tabasco sauce on his pizza. Sells it like he fucking just died, basically.
Yeah, well, so 2 things. Number 1, when the referee pats Bastion Booger, or when Doink taps Booger on the back to signify that he's won, doesn't that kind of expose the business a little bit?
Not only that, when's the last time you saw a ref pat a guy in the back?
They've never done that.
They don't do that. If it was a submission, maybe, okay. It fucking wasn't.
Yeah, but I feel like, tapping, oh, hey, all right, so it's over. I don't know. To me, that just seemed weird.
Yeah.
Secondly, and more importantly, this fucking aftermath, okay? He's got the pizza, like you said, and then it's hot sauce. Booger's gimmick is that he loves food. He loves everything food.
Right.
He puts hot sauce on the pizza. And just the setup to it is awful.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Booger's lost the match. Yeah, it's dreadful. He lost the match, and he's just, well, at least I got my pizza. Opens it, grabs it, and before it even touches his lips, he's fucking selling it that it's too hot. I don't care how much hot sauce you have on something. It's going to take you probably 15 seconds for you to be like, oh, hot. He instantly, it touched his lip, and he was like, oh my God, it's so hot. And again, it is not uncommon for people to put hot sauce on pizza or have it as
common, actually.
Yeah, as to have it as a dipping, or as a form of dip or whatever. So none of this made any sense to me at all. It's a guy who loves food, and Doink putting hot sauce on his pizza, and then he's just like, I hate that, and it's too hot. No sense. No sense to me.
And think of it this way, too. So Bastion Booger's supposed to be this big, gross guy, right? So let's say Doink sprinkled dirt on the pizza. Bastion Booger would probably love it.
Right.
But, hot sauce, an actual condiment that you'd put on pizza? Oh, fuck that. You killed him.
Yeah, I didn't I don't know. It makes no sense to me. I literally don't understand how they would think that would make any sense.
This is the reason why 93 gets a bad rap. Right.
Yeah. I'm trying to wrap my head around it right now. How does that make any sense? I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
If I showed my parents this match and was like, hey, this was 90s wrestling, this is how it was, they'd be like, what the fuck's wrong with you? You like this dumbass shit?
So, that's where we were raised, differently. Because if I were to show my dad this, he would be laughing so bad.
His favorite guy's in the match.
He loves Doink.
Yeah, it's his favorite guy of all time.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna see him this weekend because I got family coming in or whatever, and I guarantee you he'll be like, "Hey man, hey Bob, how's Doink?" Mind you, I've told him
every time
for I don't know, the last 6 years that Doink is dead. He's dead. He's been dead for a number of years now. And every time he's like, oh,
20,
man.
14 or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And every time I tell him, he's like, oh, man, I really loved him and what's that guy's Dink. Yeah, Doink and Dink. Yeah, those guys were those guys were funny. I'm like, yeah, man, but he's dead. So yeah, he'll definitely ask me again. I mean, I'm surprised I haven't gotten a text message from him lately asking me how Doink is. He's the same type of guy that will be like, hey Bob, Randy Savage is dead. Or like he'll be like, Bret Hart's dead. And I'm like, he's not. He'll be like, oh yeah, is Owen. Yeah, Owen's dead. Because this is the same guy, and I think I've told it before. Like I was sleeping, and he's like, hey Bobby, hey, remember that Randy Savage? Yeah, he's dead. He's dead.
Mind you, it's your favorite fucking guy.
My favorite wrestler ever. He's like, he died.
Yeah, what a dumbass. He's dead.
And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, no, he's on CNN. Yeah, I know he died. Did you know he was like 50? Yeah, he's dead.
Thanks, Bob Collins Sr.
Yeah, what a great gem of a guy.
Fucking A.
Yeah, no, yeah, he was like driving his Jeep or something and drove right into a wall. He's dead. Yeah.
I heard him and Doink were having a match right in the car.
Right. And Dink was the special ref. He's dead. It was great. I never understood why I liked him, but whatever. Out of all the wrestlers, fucking Doink. And it wasn't even bad guy Doink. He liked good guy Doink. I think honestly what it was is I was watching WrestleMania X. It was him against Bam Bam Bigelow. And my dad was just laughing because he's like tripping him and shit. He's like, this is great stuff. I could have showed him Bret and Owen at 20-minute classic. He'd be like, well, it's fake. That's not good. That Doink Bigelow match was fucking that was fucking great. So good.
Literally. Exactly.
Oh, look at that dwarf running on his back. That's priceless.
What a funny outfit he's got on.
Yeah. Is that real paint on his face or wow, look at that. It's crazy.
Oh man.
Okay. Well, moving on here for the showdown. We get footage from 3 weeks ago highlighting the Ludwig Borga Tatanka feud and Tatanka getting knocked out of Survivor Series pay-per-view. So just a friendly reminder that the Native American got wiped out again.
Mm-hmm.
We go back to the arena. Ray Rougeau, he's out there. He's interviewing the All-Americans regarding their Survivor Series match. Luger says that he can feel the energy rising, and he promotes the Survivor Series pay-per-view taking place this coming Wednesday. Their team is Red, White, and Blue Fever. That's what they have. They have Red, White, and Blue Fever. The final elimination of the foreign fanatics will take place at Survivor Series. Rick Steiner chimes in and says that they will be the survivors. Scott Steiner chimes in and says that they're going to eliminate them and The Undertaker will bury them. And boy, let me tell you, Scott Steiner was real proud of that. He's like, I thought about that for a good 2 weeks, man. And I'm like, we'll eliminate him and Undertaker will bury him.
Let me just paint the picture a little bit more here for you before we get to The Undertaker.
Okay.
First of all, Lex Luger's in a black leather jacket with American flags like stitched onto the back. And
his wardrobe,
bizarre.
Yeah.
Fucking bizarre.
Really weird.
So we have that. That's a jacket we haven't seen before. I'm not really sure what prompted him to fucking put that on tonight, but nonetheless, he did. Lex's promo is pretty entertaining in the fact that it's just oozes corniness. And as soon as Rick grabs the mic, Lex turns his face away from the camera as if he's laughing, like he's smiling. So he's already laughing at whatever Rick Steiner is going to say. And Rick basically gets on the mic. He's tripping over his words. He only says like a sentence or two. And Lex is over here corpsing, turning away from the camera. So that's the first half of the team right there. It's fucking hilarious. Then Scott gets the goddamn microphone. And he says that Wednesday night, Foreign fanatics, we're gonna eliminate you. And after we eliminate you, the Undertaker is going to bury you. So he says, limlate. Fanatics are going to get limlated. And after we eliminate you, Undertaker's going to bury you.
Yeah, but the thing is, too, is after he says it, he turns around to the crowd and he's just like, yeah!
Yeah, limlate.
Eliminate.
Fucking idiot.
See, this is when Money Incorporated comes in with that M on their, like, remember what that M stand for? Yeah, moron. We told you.
Fucking so funny. Put it this way, forget Undertaker burying the other team. Fucking the three guys who just talked on the microphones buried this team.
Yeah, they just buried themselves. Yeah.
It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And 2 out of the 3 guys only said about a sentence or 2.
That's what it is every time.
Just stupid. Like, you guys sound stupid. And it was great. Big fan. Bob, go ahead with the Undertaker.
Okay, so Undertaker finishes off, says that it is the Elimination Series. And this is where he comes in. He will lay them all down in eternal darkness and tells them to rest in peace. So his line's not that bad, but here's one thing that I don't think we're thinking about here. How many people on Wednesday night are going to call up their cable company and say, hey, man, I'm looking to get that Elimination Series. And then they're going to be like,
oh, we don't carry
you don't have that. They're like, well, what the hell? Undertaker said that he's going to be at Elimination Series at WWF. I'd like to purchase that. It's my Thanksgiving tradition. Elimination Series. Yeah, it's All Americans, Foreign Fanatics.
Sir, do you mean Survivor Series? No.
No, it's Elimination Series. I don't think the Undertaker would lie. Okay, dead people don't lie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking to get Elimination Series.
Limlate.
Eliminate. Limlate. No, it's a show where they're gonna eliminate them, and then Taker's gonna bury them. That show. No, it's not eliminate. It's not Survivor Series. Elimination Series.
Yeah, limlate.
Yeah, and then like that Saturday on Super says, oh, this happened at Survivor Series, and they're gonna be like, what? Oh fuck, it was that show. Damn it!
Fuck you, Undertaker.
Heel turn for Undertaker.
Oh my gosh,
that'd be pretty great. So this is okay. I feel like we've seen a handful of these promos.
Yes.
And whether it's good guy or bad guy, and I think we get the heels later on. Yep. It's the same
every time.
Yeah, it's the same shit. And nothing they're saying is making me be like, oh, I want to go see that. I gotta pay. I gotta want to see it. Nothing.
They're like canned promos.
Yeah. It is just not creative at all.
No.
Just really bad.
Nope.
Speaking of bad, Todd Pengill decides he's going to teach us how to order a pay-per-view.
Oh, yay.
I don't have this written down in depth, but I'm pretty sure it went something like this. Oh, hey, it's me, Todd Pengill. Survivor Series this Wednesday. And there's like 2 ways that you can buy. Number 1, if you go to your cable bill, right here on the bottom is a phone number. You call that phone number and you tell them, hey, I want WWF Survivor Series. And they're going to be like, processing. Oh, you're through. It's like simple. And then he's like, but then some of my friends have this thing in there, have this little thing where they just, click it to their TV. It's like called a remote. And you just hit this button and like, you don't have to do anything else. You just hit it, sit back, and you're locked in for Survivor Series. It's that easy. What are you waiting for? Order Survivor Series.
Pretty sure that was verbatim.
I mean, are we that dumb? I mean, this is the 1993 edition of when the network came out, and you would go to a house show, and the Bella Twins would be on the big screen, and they'd be like, "Hi, I'm Bree, and I'm Nikki, and we're here to show you how to get your internet connection set up to your TV so you can watch the network. That's only $9.99 a month. First, you get these 3 plugs, and you put it in the back of your TV. You hook it up to your cable box or your PS3 or whatever device, and then you go to apps, And then you scroll down and you go add app and you type in WWE Network. Then you set up a username and password. And then blah, 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 blah. You know how many times I had a coworker who recently passed away, Bob Hare, RIP. And I'd be like, hey, man, instead of buying WrestleMania for $60, why don't you just get internet for like $40? And then you have this thing, the network for 10. You're saving $10 right out of the bat. And then I tried to describe to him how to do it. And I kind of like showed him a list of the Bella twins. And he's like, fuck that, Bob. It's going to take me forever. How the hell am I going to figure that out? It's not even worth it. They took forever to explain it. It was the video on there at the house shows was like 20 minutes long. So you can watch us move our hips. Ugh. This is what Todd Penko was doing.
Well, and the whole thing is here with this, to me, it felt like, hey, kids, parents, get the fuck out of the room. Kids, let me tell you how to buy the pay-per-view behind your parents' back.
Right.
Grab their cable bill, call the number, tell them you want to order the pay-per-view. You can't do that. Find that fancy remote and bam, press that button. You ordered it. Mom, Dad, come back on in.
Yeah.
Watch more WWF programming. Survivor Series.
I would have, if I was in 93, if I was like 10 or 11 years old and I was watching that and I had a remote and I was like, huh, right here. That Wednesday, I'd be at home at like 8 o'clock or whatever, and I'd be looking around. I'd probably be like, all right, fuck it, do it. Boom, right? And then as for forgiveness, 3 weeks later when they get the bill, they're like, why the hell is there a $29.99 charge for Elimination Series on my fucking bill? And I'll be like, well, I wanted to see if it worked. Well, I guess it worked. Exactly. How long am I grounded for? And I would just do that for every pay-per-view. So like the Royal Rumble coming up in January, I'd be like, oh, all right, and, you're right. We're watching it. WrestleMania 10. All right.
That's what it felt like.
Todd Benkill showed me how to do it. Blame Todd.
He told the kids how to do it.
It's not my fault.
And he's sitting in like that same tape room.
It's in the damn their studio in Stamford, Connecticut, where they tape Livewire or Mania or whatever the fuck it is now.
Yeah, and the whole brush your teeth first, like that same setting. It's that same backdrop.
Yep. Just brush your teeth first.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So that's what we got right there.
Yeah. Fucking Todd. We go back to the showdown here. Vince McMahon, Bobby Heenan, they talk about Randy Savage and how he will not be at the broadcasting table for the pay-per-view, but he could still show up.
Mm-hmm.
We then also see footage of the Crush Savage Summit, and they highlight the feud. There's no sense in me explaining what we saw there because we saw it a couple weeks ago. Leads us to our second match of the night is Crush taking on arguably the greatest light heavyweight wrestlers of all time, Virgil.
I was hoping that the breadstick eating machine was going to whoop Crush's ass in this match.
When we get through describing this, I'm probably going to lose my mind because I think it's something here and I just go, what the fuck is going on? All right. So Crush, he goes right after Virgil. I'm assuming he owes him for a recent trip to Olive Garden or something. And he just beats him up with some strikes, knocks him to the mat. Virgil fights back with the clothesline and then Crush bails to the floor. Virgil proceeds to take Crush out with a suicide dive. And this is what I was referencing with what the fuck is going on. He's done something similar on Raw where he just flies over the top rope. And he's like, fuck it, I'm diving. Like, somebody catch me. If not, oh fucking well. This one's a straight suicide dive. Like, probably one of the, I know like Bret's done a few suicide dives, but like Virgil just comes out of nowhere and is like, woo, let's do it.
It's so funny because it's like Virgil's thinking, well, fuck, if the writing team ain't getting me over, I'll
just do it. The thing that is really bad though is this is a guy who can't do an inside cradle. He can't do a standing drop kick, but he hits the suicide dive. Like his legs don't clip the ropes. He doesn't break his neck or he doesn't break his opponent's neck or anything. He actually performs the move. So it's like, what is going on?
It's so funny because he just did this before with, I want to say, Adam Bomb, where it was all of a sudden.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
Where the fuck is this coming from? Like, who the fuck is this guy?
It just hit me. I think I know what it is.
The breadsticks.
No.
Soup and salad.
No. I think he had recently watched WCW television. And he saw an African-American wrestler doing all these dives. And I'm talking about Too Cold Scorpio. And I bet you Virgil's watching that. And he's probably looking at it. And he's probably like, I can fucking do that. All these people love him. I'm getting booed. I can do these dives.
Yeah.
So in the next couple of weeks, if Virgil starts having like some hair, well, he starts just growing it out, and he starts doing a 450, we'll know the inspiration, and it's because of Too Cold Scorpio. To
be fair, he did have about 10 kids chanting for Virgil in this match.
I would have been one of them.
Yeah, there was about 10 kids. Virgil was, first of all, start of the match, Virgil's overselling the fuck out of every move Crush does to him. Just acting like he's dead on everything. Then he turns the tables and is like, no, fuck me, no, fuck you. And basically goes ham on him for a couple minutes. I don't get it.
Well, so he does the suicide dive, and you're thinking, hey, Virgil's going to be a main event guy. Like, this is 94 is the year of Virgil. Well, Crush stops him with a savant kick. And Virgil tries to fight back, but he gets decked with the right hand. Virgil avoids Crush in the corner, and he almost wins with a roll-up. He's going for shoot roll-ups, I think. Yeah, I think he's really trying to win.
You know what it feels like with Virgil? Not to cut you off again.
No, go ahead.
So have you ever played the wrestling games online?
What wrestling games?
Just in general, like some of the newer modern wrestling games.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
So when you go online and you're either you're a custom guy or you're one of the superstars, right? You pick your favorite guy. And all of a sudden your opponent, who's another player from God knows where, comes out and it's Vince McMahon in a suit. You're thinking, okay.
But the moveset's like way different or something?
Not only that, he's fucking hacking the game. And
right.
He can't do fucking shit. And he's whooping your ass, and it's Vince McMahon whooping the fuck out of The Rock or whoever you picked. Right. Brock Lesnar. And that's what Virgil is. Virgil's the hacked character that comes out online and like beats your ass out of nowhere and is trying to roll you up and fucking screw you out of the match and just get himself over as much as he can. That's what this is. It's fucking hilarious. It's so funny.
Yeah. That's actually a pretty good description.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Well, he avoids Crush in the corner. He almost wins the roll up. And then he leaps off the middle rope to hit a clothesline. So he's getting some high spots here. Virgil strikes Crush to the floor to keep control. Crush catches Virgil coming off the apron and rams him back first into the apron there. Virgil nearly wins with another inside cradle. Crush gets out of the $1 Million Dream and clotheslines Virgil. He then drops Virgil throat first over the top rope. And then he finishes Virgil off with the Kona of Vice because Virgil passes out. But I want to note that he puts the move on once, and Virgil showing his strength, and clearly they're positioning him for a top-level push because he had to pick him up a second time and drop him down. So Virgil is going to be the man. He's going to be my early pick to win the 1994 Royal Rumble. I think by this point in time, it would be Virgil against Yokozuna. He'll be avenging his loss to Yokozuna at, I believe, the 1992 Survivor Series. So, yeah, this will be great. I don't see how you don't make money. I think Virgil will sell out Madison Square Garden. No doubt about it. You could go ask him right now, and I'm sure he'll tell you the same thing, that he definitely main evented WrestleMania 10, and he beat Yokozuna for the WWF World Championship. Unfortunately, one of us knows that that's not true, and it's not Virgil. Virgil would actually think that happened. So, yeah.
My favorite part about this finish, right, is I can't think of one other guy that lasted in the Cone of Ice longer than Virgil. Like, Virgil fought it off.
He like refused to tap out. I could have sworn that Crush like lowered his mouth as if to probably say, tap, brother.
Dude, what the fuck are you doing?
Right. And then like the referee came over and was like, hey,
Called
man,
him out.
you got to fucking tap. So Crush probably audibled and was like, well, I've had this hold on for you for like 45 seconds. You have not tapped. So I got to pick you up again. I mean, backstage, Virgil's probably like, I just got to maintain my heat, man. I don't want to kill the town, brother. You know, I want to return here. We got to get that second payday, man. We got a rematch now. I didn't tap. I passed out. Shows my heart.
That turtle looking motherfucker. Dude, what the fuck is going on?
I just don't understand, man.
Why? What? Why? First of all, why did this match go as long as it did?
You know what? I think also it has to do with, he had cut a promo at SummerSlam 92, which was cut off, and we'll have to finish the second half of that at some point. But he was like too legit to quit. So he was probably thinking, Crush, I can't quit. I'm too legit.
That's right.
I've told the people I'm too legit to quit. So if I give up, then I'm not legit.
Virgil's a man of his word.
Smart businessman.
That's right. No question.
I'll tell you right now.
Fuck this match. Pretty fucking stupid. I
love the suicide dive. I love that Virgil's just so reckless. He's like, fuck it, don't care. He should have been in Ring of Honor 2002. Bring him in. Have him like, could you imagine him against like Loki and Loki just blistering him with kicks?
Yeah,
and Virgil's like, brother, what is going on, man?
Yeah.
Ease up.
Man.
Jerry Flynn never did this. What the hell? That'd be fun.
It was it went way too long. Virgil should not have been giving Crush as much of a hard time as he did. Because Crush just returned as a fucking heel and is like trying to portray himself as a major threat to the company.
Well, I disagree with you. This is the match of the night. To this point, I mean, because compared to Bastion Booger and Doink, this is match of the year quality.
Well, yeah.
I mean, the fighting spirit of Virgil, the tenacity of Crush. Come on, this is money.
I was just so confused. Like,
I'm confused with everything I was saying to try to make this seem better than it was.
The show up until this point was a fucking steaming turd.
Yeah, it's brutal. Like, no wonder this is a hidden gem because they don't want anybody. It's not even a hidden gem. It should just remain hidden.
A hidden turd.
Yeah. Like, why? I can understand why they never really put this on television.
I think
after the original airing.
I think Vince stepped on it with a shoe and he's like, oh, fuck.
Gosh.
And he just scraped it off and slapped it onto the network. He's like, yeah, stick it there then.
Let's put it on. Fucking Virgil doing suicide dive. Who does he think he is? He's not Eddie Guerrero. God.
Now, the only question I'm left with here, Bob, after this match.
Yeah.
We talked about Scorpio.
Yeah.
Virgil has a known history throughout wrestling lore.
If this is about his wiener, this would have to be. See, what I was going to do with the Scorpios, I was going to tie it in and have them be like a tag team. And have them be called the Knee Knockers. And you can probably just guess.
Oh my God.
Reference it. Because you've got promos where you can just be like, Virgil's going to be like, listen, head shrinkers, we're the Knee Knockers. And we're going to just jam it right down your throat.
Oh boy. Or if you put him in Smoky Mountain, you can call him the Knee Grows.
Well, that's a stretch.
Come on.
That's
Burnett would have done it.
Stretch. No, well, in I would have them be called the Wild Hogs.
Oh,
we can't control them. Fuck, where's that gonna go? See, if this was the Attitude Era and like before the Me Too movement, Vince Russo would probably do something like that. Because you could like Scorpio, we could have you could have an angle here where like Virgil's like messing around with Deborah or something, and you can be like, "Listen, Steve Austin, Steve, I can't control the fucking thing. Okay, it's down on my fucking tippy toes. If I'm sitting down on a bench and it rubs up against her, I didn't mean to. Okay, it's not my fault. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Or like, when Kane was with Tori, and then Virgil can be like, listen, Kane, I was at the concession stand there at catering, trying to get some hot coffee. No pun intended. And, it's not my fault that like, I turned and like I smacked her in the face. It's not my fault.
Oh my.
I'm sorry. That is something that Vince Russo would probably do. If Vince Russo were to be listening to this, he'd probably be like, oh, I'm writing that down.
Either that or could you imagine them in like Gilligan's Island get-ups and like Two Cold Scorpios like Captain Long Johnson, and then his first mate is fucking Virgil and they got some dick related first mate testicle or some bullshit like that. And it's just they come out on a boat. It's like a cardboard boat. It's like this Gilligan's Island song. That'd be fucking awesome.
Man, oh man. They should have been in the Nation of Domination.
You can call Virgil Moby Dick.
Well, there you go.
Captain Long Johnson and Moby Dick.
This is perfect.
And they're fucking Gilligan's Island guys.
The amount of money that we could have made with Virgil. Baffling. I mean, people would be talking about this forever.
I would have put Virgil in DX.
Well, wasn't there times when like they would show nudity? So if they blurred anything out for Virgil, it'd be going out of TV range.
Right. It would like come off on the side of your television, like the actual, like the black bar would be on your TV. You're like, what the fuck is that? You're trying to rub it off with your finger?
No, you know what I would do? I'd be like, listen, Virgil. So like for the TV audience, it wouldn't really work out, but for like the television viewers of like millions of people back then, I'd be like, Virgil, go out there in a G-string and we'll pretend that you're naked. And then we'll have it blurred out, but have it dragging behind you. So the people at home are just like, what? So you're wrestling this match with a blurred spot just dragging around the ring.
Either they'll think you shat yourself and it's just flying around, or you've got a fucking dragon penis. Dude, I'm telling you, it's money that's left on the table, just like Virgil's big old wang was on.
Oh my god,
fucking gold.
Oh my god. You know what'd be funny is if instead of Val Venus getting his PP cut off, if they did that with Virgil, and then like Funaki would be like, we had to cut it like 9 times. It's so big.
Or they got Virgil tied up in a separate room, and they're like in a different room chopping it.
It keep growing. It keep coming back. How do you do this?
It's like a boa constrictor.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Yeah. This is what ICOPOD has turned into.
And it's a face turn because then they give Virgil a regular sized wiener. So
well, yeah. Then all the white girls will come up to him like, oh, we can handle it now. Right? Like that's when Sable would come over and she'd be like, hey, I like what you got there. Like before it would have killed me, but well, now I can do it. Just don't tell Mark Merrow, okay?
Virgil the Impaler. Good Lord.
Oh my god. If his contract in WCW expired in like 98 or something, I'd be like, I would pitch it to Vince, like Vince.
You know what the Brood needs?
You gotta
Virgil the Impaler.
No. Well, you could do that, or you could have like, listen, Vince, you gotta bring Virgil back, and we're gonna have him feud with Val Venus. Now, the way we do this, Venus is about to make a porn video with Jenna Jameson, but then Val can be like, "What the hell, Jenna? I'm falling in. Like you're not tight anymore." And then she can be like, "Yeah, I know. I just did a video with a guy called Virgil. He's too legit to quit."
Yeah.
And then Val is like, "What?
Who the fuck?"
And then you just see Virgil like at the door and be like, "Yo, bro, yeah, dude."
He's in his NWO gear still.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
So like, so any angle ever for like Venus or any relationship to start, Virgil will have gotten to him first.
Yeah.
And it just ruins it.
Yeah.
So like Triple H and Stephanie, Triple H like marries her, and he's like about to hook up with her. He's like, "Wow, like I fell in." And she's like, "Yeah, I kind of had a fling with Virgil."
He knocks on the door. Yo, bro.
Yo, bro.
It's like the
we're Eskimo bros now, man.
it's like the Ron Simmons damn thing, but it's
Oh my
bro.
dude. And the perfect thing, right? That would be like 99. Guess what you could do? 2018. Jason Jordan. Jason Virgil.
Shit.
Dad? Hey, Steph, remember when you banged Virgil before you banged Triple H?
Yeah.
I'm here.
Or imagine if they did an angle, right? It's Val Venus and Virgil. They're bringing Virgil in. He just left WCW, like you said, right?
Yeah.
And this whole time, let's say Val is feuding with, whoever, and they keep accusing Val Venus. Oh, it was a stunt double the whole time. Like it wasn't you. It wasn't you in the videos. And it's fucking revealed that it's Virgil. Like he was the stand-in for Val Venus.
Oh,
and the
boy.
people are like, what? It's like, yeah, it was me. And fucking Val flies out of the handles. He's pissed. He's like outed. Like, what the fuck?
It'd be like the porn version of Jeff Jarrett and the roadie. Like it wasn't Jeff Jarrett singing, it's not Val Venus banging, it's Virgil.
Exactly. It was like, oh, it's Virgil the whole time. Like, oh fuck.
Oh my god.
The
The ideas with this guy are endless. I mean, you can't.
Endless.
Oh boy.
So good.
Yo, bro.
He's like never said that. But
I don't think he's ever said yo or bro. And we're putting them together. Yo, could you imagine like at WrestleMania like 14, it's all the yo bros.
Holy shit.
Every time he cuts a promo, like you know how Scott Hall has the hey yo,
Hey, yo.
yo bro. Everybody like yo bro.
It's one of the signs where it's like 30 people. Yo, bro.
All over the upper deck.
Dude, fucking A, he'd be over. Oh, shit.
This episode alone, just for Virgil, is going to have about 10 million downloads or something. I'm telling you right now.
You should tweet it at him.
Virgil will catch wind of this and they'll be like, yo, bros, guess what I just listened to?
Where's my check, bitches?
If we watch like Raw anytime soon and we see in the crowd, yo, bro, I'm taking credit for that.
Absolutely.
That's us. That's because of ICOPOD.
Oh, shit.
Oh, man. You know what? We got people listening to this driving, and now they're probably got in a car wreck.
I would have.
Sorry, Johnny B, Scott, or whatever. Sorry about that, man. England guy. I know he's probably dead.
England guy.
He's dead. Sorry.
They're like, oh, what's that in the road? Virgil's dick?
Yo, bro.
Starve it.
Good. Whew. Okay. So hopefully everybody's regained their composure.
Just close the book there.
Yeah. Fuck the rest of the showdown. That's all you needed to know. The title for this is going to be Survivor Series Showdown 93, semicolon, yo, bro.
Yo, bro.
Yo, bro. I should totally just do that. Okay. Back to the show.
Yes.
This is the peak of ICOPOD. We're never getting to this. This is the highest part we're ever getting.
I almost peed.
Vince McMahon and Bobby Heenan talk about the show. Like I'm assuming what his I'm losing track. I'm assuming of what we've already seen.
They talk about the yo.
The yo. They talk about the show, and Heenan mentions that he hates everything regarding monkeys. That brings in Gorilla Monsoon and Jim Ross. Monsoon suggests that Heenan gets his affairs in order. Kind of, I guess, a tease of things to come, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
We go to footage from WWF Superstars last weekend highlighting a match between Razor Ramon and Martel. As you'll remember, Ramon won by countout to retain the title. Martel got pissed off with Harvey Whippleman, and they nearly came to blows. But luckily, Martel's teammates came out, and they cooled things off. That brings us to a segment that Austin's already smirking about. So I will let Austin take it away.
Before we get to this gem, this true hidden gem, Bob, you imagine if you reached out to Virgil and you had him record an opening by starting with, "Yo, bro, this is Virgil." That'd be worth its weight in gold right there.
You know what? I wonder if I could.
He would do it.
You think so?
Oh my God. If you paid him $30, he would do it.
Knowing him, he probably would want like $350.
He can kiss my ass.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right, so here we go. Probably my favorite part of this whole show. Turns out this impersonator is in fact Bruce Pritchard. All right, so it's Bruce Pritchard and Shawn Michaels, and they're outside in the cold. They're in front of a house. It's obviously not the Hart House. If you're familiar with like the exterior of the Hart House looks like, you know right off the bat that they're not there. Odds are it's like some stand-in house that they're using in, fucking Pennsylvania. That's probably what it is. So nonetheless, here they are. They're standing outside. They're all bundled up. Shawn says the Harts can see their breath outside all year round. Bruce is being an idiot. Like he's selling the Dusty thing huge, which
it's over the top.
I'm surprised. I wonder if Dusty thought this was funny, because I could see how it might be a little bit offensive, just how ridiculous he's being. And they allude to, okay, they're going to go into the house. Again, it's definitely not the Hart House. So at this point, I have no idea what to expect. I don't know what's going on here. So they go up to the doorstop. They knock pretty loud. Bruce goes, "Oh, the hot of hearing, baby, knock louder." So Shawn's pounding on the door. And a fucking terrifying masked old woman. It's fucking horrid, this mask. The hair looks like fucking Medusa, like snakes. It's like all fucking squiggly. Fucking the face itself is it's a horror mask. It's got to be a horror mask. It's like an old lady witch horror mask.
Well, here, you want to know what's funny is watching it when they first opened the door, I wasn't sure if it was makeup or a mask. But then when they get in and they turn sideways, I'm like, that's a fucking mask. Because they didn't even try to cover it up from the side or anything.
No.
It's blatantly a mask. But when she first opens, I'm like, oh wow, that's a great makeup job. But then they turn their head, I'm like, oh, the fucking mask is flapped upwards. You can see blatantly that it's a mask.
Well, dude,
I thought it was funny. That the heels, Pritchard and fucking Michaels. If you're thinking from heel, Michaels, I don't fucking care. We're totally just disrespecting his family. Just keep fucking.
Yeah.
Don't even cover it up. I want them to know this is what we think of you. I thought it was fucking hilarious.
Oh my God. So she opens the door. She's like, "Hello." I'm like, oh my God, who the fuck is this?
I bet you it's like Barry Horowitz under a mask or something.
I don't know. The person's pretty small and pretty frail, but it's definitely a guy, because you can see the guy's haircut under the mask.
It's probably 1, 2, 3 kid.
Yeah, I don't know, but it was pretty fucking funny. So they're welcomed into the house, and they immediately run into a Bret poster. So it's right there in the atrium of the house. Rio, Bruce, says that, "Ooh, looky here." And next to the Bret poster, as the old lady is saying, "Oh, that's my boy," about Bret, a little wallet-sized photo of Owen is taped on the wall next to it, all crooked and fucked up.
It's not even that. It's like a baseball card. It's just nailed onto the fucking side of the Bret Hart mega poster. It's just Owen. It's he's here too.
Yeah.
We actually just took that card out of the spokes of our bicycles that we wanted to make it sound like a motorcycle. And yeah, that's Owen.
So there it is, just right next to the wall. He's just there. And Shawn, he says, "Oh, it's amazing how you could exploit one son so much and have another that can't even afford to make ends meet." He's like saying it in like a, oh, look at that, man.
Yeah.
It's like pre-Attitude Era Shawn Michaels, but it's Attitude Era Shawn Michaels. It's fucking hilarious. So there you go. That's them. It's they're in the atrium. Then they're gonna go say hi to Stu. So this is Helen. This is Helen Hart. They're gonna go say hi to Stu, and I'm thinking, oh boy, how can this get any fucking better? So they walk into the family room, and it's another masked person, and it's wearing it looked like a George W. Bush mask.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got the Bret shades over the eyes, and the guy's in like a blue tracksuit sitting in a wheelchair, and he's petting a fake dog. So I'm just like, oh my fucking God. So they call him Stu. Rio gives the guy like a rough shoulder rub as Shawn is saying how good it is to see him. And it was fucking ridiculous. So let me just, again, paint the picture here for you. You have Helen Hart, who's in a fucking horror mask with like a witch with fucking, the hair, dude, is ridiculous. It's literally like clumps all over, just standing up. You have the old man masked guy sitting in the wheelchair in a blue fucking tracksuit looking like a Russian coke dealer. Fucking Bruce Pritchard in a Dusty Rhodes get up, rubbing the fucking guy's shoulders. There's a fake dog in the room, and Shawn Michaels is there in his fucking cowboy get up. It was hilarious. Just this whole thing was fucking so funny. And to top it all off, the old man's holding a Bret teddy bear. And just as they're like kind of heated words about Bret or whatever, Vince breaks in and says, "Okay, we've seen just about enough of all this." Just as Helen starts unbuttoning her blouse, she starts stripping her blouse off, and it like fades to black and cuts away.
What is she about to do? Bang fucking Shawn Michaels?
I don't know, but it was fucking hilarious. It's almost like they forgot to cut the camera during the segment, and the guy was just fucking around underneath. He starts unbuttoning the blouse.
Oh my God.
My face hurts. It was, dude, this is a fucking gem. I'm probably going to go back and watch it at some point this week just because I thought it was so goddamn funny.
Well, I enjoyed listening to you describe it more than I did watching it.
It was hilarious.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just if you were to watch it stand alone, you would probably enjoy it more. But if you try to watch it in like storyline context of the show, it makes no sense.
No, it literally doesn't. And that's one of the best parts, though, because realistically, if you would have had Lawler do this, I think Lawler would have made it more about Lawler. To whereas Shawn really doesn't. He just lets the chaos around him ensue. So like the old lady's the star of the show. The fucking old man's the star of the show. It's hilarious.
Yeah, Lawler would have stolen the heat and like made 900 like corny jokes probably.
Yeah, I don't know if it would have been as funny as that because it was just so awkward. Like you can tell that was probably fun as fuck to shoot. Like being on that set to shoot that little video was probably hilarious. And B, you can tell that Shawn and Bruce specifically are just having fun. You know, they're just enjoying it.
You want to know, this has crossed my mind right now, but as a way to like break the fourth wall. And I feel like you're going to be like, wow, but I'm going to say it anyway. What if when Helen's removing her blouse or unbuttoning it, and let's say Lawler's doing it, he were to put his hand up and look to the camera and say, "You're too old for me."
Could you imagine?
And like wink, like, "You're too old for me." Wink.
Oh my God. That would have been good. That would have been good.
Yeah. That's something we would probably do in like 99 or something.
Yes. Oh, hands down, easily. Well, it's funny because like I said, it's almost as if that blouse thing wasn't supposed to be in the video, but like They thought it was so funny. They just fuck it, keep it in.
Yeah, might as well.
Because you can tell the guy underneath is fucking around. Like that wasn't part of the segment, but he like,
Right.
dude, so funny. If for those of you listening, if you've never seen this, which odds are you haven't, go to the hidden gem section, skip through the first beginning here, find this segment, play it, watch it. It's pretty fucking funny. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, and it provides some last minute hype for Shawn Michaels being in a match that he pretty much has no association with.
Right.
So
Right.
That adds a layer there. That brings us into our third match of the evening, and as Jim Ross had noted earlier, it's sure to be a classic. It's IRS taking on Marty Jannetty. IRS starts the match with a scoop slam and just kind of adjusts his tie afterward because, you know, he's a hardworking tax man. Jannetty fights back with a slam of his own, a hip toss, and a drop kick, and that sends IRS to the floor. IRS delivers a shoulder block, but Marty slides underneath IRS and gets control on the mat with a drop toe hold. Early on, the match has been mostly slow and uninteresting, which isn't surprising at all.
All stalling. There were like segments in the beginning where it was almost as if they're trying to cue a commercial break, but like there is no commercial break, so we just get like the in between stuff. Yeah. Just a lot of stalling.
It's like and I've used this comparison before. It's like when you go to a house show and they stall for like 12 minutes and they have like a 15-minute match, they only want to work 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's usually the case with all IRS matches. But Jannetty runs the ropes and then gets sent through the ropes to the floor. IRS delivers several strikes and he keeps him on the apron. Marty counters a suplex attempt into the ring and nearly wins with a roll-up. IRS keeps a sleeper on Jannetty for several minutes. Or moments, but it felt like minutes, and elbows Marty after being sent face first into the corner. As per usual, IRS locks in the abdominal stretch, and he uses the ropes for leverage. Jannetty hip tosses his way out of the hold, but IRS keeps control with more strikes. IRS misses a running shoulder attack in the corner, allowing Marty to get control. Marty nearly wins with a knee lift and a roll-up, but IRS comes back with a snap suplex. IRS turns Jannetty inside out with a lariat, and he wins the match. Now, prior to that, they were like running the ropes, and you could see it coming from a mile away as to how this was going to finish off with the clothesline. So kind of makes Marty look dumb for not being able to duck it, considering just how blatantly set up that finisher was. But I was pretty bored by this match, and I feel like for the next, 120 episodes that IRS is going to be wrestling on, or potentially wrestling on. I'm going to be saying that a lot about his matches. I don't want to see IRS in a top-level match, let alone a singles match. And if he's being set up for a match against Ramon, I'm pretty much dreading that. Don't think that's going to deliver much of anything. If you can't get a good match with Jannetty, you might be in trouble.
Well,
what I'm saying.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. It felt like not even a syndication match. Like you said, it was like a house show match. Neither guy really put in a major effort here. For a Survivor Series Showdown match, it wasn't really much of anything. It's all stuff we've seen before. At least we got a clean finish. You know, if nothing else, there was a clean finish. IRS's clothesline does look good. What does he call it? The audit or something?
The write-off.
The write-off. Like it does. It looks good. Again, you know, Marty probably should have at least telegraphed that one. But
yeah, like duck the first one, and then you can take the second one or something.
Yeah. So whatever. I really didn't have too many notes on this match, and usually I have at least something. There really wasn't much going on here. This felt kind of like the popcorn match so far, which is sad to say because really compared to the other matches, this was probably the better of them to this point, and that's not saying much.
No way. I'm still taking Virgil and Crush. That is, I'm telling you, that's still match of the night.
The Daniel Bryan Virgil.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Watch out, wild hogs coming to a town near you.
Yeah.
We then go into the Foreign Fanatics coming out for an interview with Ray Virgil. Cornette chimes in and says that they drew first blood when they eliminated Tatanka.
Tatanto.
Tatanto, of course. But it's Tatanka, my boy. He talks about the All-Americans getting a replacement in the form of The Undertaker to make their team even stronger. He says that Luger gave Pierre a concussion, and he's off the team as a result. They've gone out and got a replacement in the form of Crush. Johnny Polo says that everyone will pay for what Luger did to Pierre. Polo blows into a paper bag and pops it, saying that is what they'll be doing to Luger. Borga chimes in and says that he's going to break Luger's back. Crush is happy to be with people who think like him and aren't backstabbers. Apparently, he doesn't know Jim Cornette very well. Cornette says that they will be the winning team. He also wonders what will be the hardest, being the one left or someone who gets eliminated. And that leads to everybody saying bonsai and all that other bullshit. So,
yes. So I think we have a correction here, because when Polo pops the paper bag, I believe Ludwig says, did you hear that? That's going to be the sound when I break Lex Luger's neck. I believe he says he's going to break his neck.
Neck, back, whatever.
I thought that was a little harsh. I was kind of taken back when he said that. I was like, oh, fuck.
When he breaks his neck?
Yeah, that popping sound is going to be the sound when I break your neck. It's like, holy fuck. Wow. Again, we've heard this promo about 4 times now. It's always like, I would say 80% Cornette, 20% the rest of the team, for better or worse, really. At least it's not like 80% Luger, 20% everybody else.
That would be bad.
So, we have that at least. Cornette can usually put a formulated idea together, which is nice. That's what this team needs, at the very least. It is interesting to see, though, because if you look at the Foreign Fanatics team, right, it's pretty fucking stacked. You have Yoko, you have Crush, you have Borga. Jacques isn't really shit, but like 3 out of the 4 guys are monster heels. If you put Diesel on that team, holy shit, you got a fucking badass team.
I would still kind of consider them the underdogs, though.
I would say so. Yeah.
Compared to Taker, Luger, Scott, and
Rick.
No, Rick's not on the team anymore, is he? Oh, he is.
Yeah.
Because they got rid of Tatanka. Right.
Yeah. I was thinking, though, it brought up an idea as I'm seeing this team on screen. Why wasn't Savage the replacement instead of Undertaker?
Right. It makes way too much sense here.
Because if you think about it, Savage has had dealings with Yoko. Savage has had dealings with Crush.
Right.
Him and Jacques are, not necessarily strangers.
They've wrestled before.
Yeah. So, I mean, there you go.
Yeah, no, I don't understand it either.
And not only that, if you think USA and how pro USA Macho Man always is on commentary or whatever, and some of the outfits that he's worn, it's fucking perfect. So good. And yet they don't do it. Blows my mind.
I would have just swapped Taker with Savage, like put Taker in the Ramon one.
Exactly. Because honestly, Bob, and I don't know if you agree with me, but I see Taker more on that level of talent, not main event. I don't see Undertaker as the main event right now.
I think with his character being restrictive in the sense of like what you could do to him and what's impacted by him, it's tough to make him a main event guy because you don't have that sympathy because you're just like, well, he'll just set up.
Yeah. Right. Right.
I think he's an undercard attraction.
Not only that, I think with Undertaker in general, he would have more avenues in the mid-card match. I think Undertaker in this main event match, it's just a weird fit. It's like a square peg in a round hole. Like something doesn't make sense here.
I think for me, and I think we've talked about this before, but by like I would say by 96, I'm sold on Taker as a main event guy.
Yeah, I would think at least
just because he's more like lifelike.
Yeah.
Not so much like supernatural.
Yeah, it's not a gimmick.
Yeah, like the gimmick would have worked or did work in like 91, but like late 80s with like Hogan and stuff like that, when it is kind of like over the top cartoonish, like that probably would have worked.
It's almost as if the gimmick made the man up until late 90s, and then the man made the gimmick.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So at this point, they're really trying, and the crowd really loves The Undertaker. Don't get me wrong. They fucking pop huge when he comes out.
I think when they're screaming, they're just afraid because the lights went out.
Probably.
I'll tell you that right now. When I went to In Your House, the first In Your House, my mom screamed so loud. Not because she loves The Undertaker.
Is you scared?
She was like, what the hell's going on? Like,
Yeah.
the lights are out. Like, are we going to die?
Yeah.
And then you hear the dun, 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 dun. I was like, no, it's just Undertaker, Mom. That's probably what it is.
Yeah. It's an awkward fit. Savage would have made this 10 times better. I'm sorry to say, but it really would have. You could have tied in the Crush thing in the one match and been done with it. But, that's hindsight, I guess.
Well, it's just logical booking that the WWF tends to not necessarily follow.
And I'm sorry, but Randy Savage is, even as a commentator, is more of a main event than Undertaker.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah. And also, Randy Savage is probably a better commentator than The Undertaker.
True. Yes, true.
Could you imagine Undertaker at this point on commentary? Look at that
Side headlock.
sleeper hold.
He's got a headlock on Hunger. Sooner or later, if you drive drunk, he's going to meet The Undertaker.
You will rest in peace. Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
You know, Undertaker should have an ICOPRO.
ICOPRO.
If you have too much, you'll overdose.
Take it or your muscles will rest.
Is it bad that I just thought of this? What if Paul Orndorff were to come back and like Undertaker were to touch his arm and be like, see, astrophy.
Take your ICOPRO, or sooner or later, this is what you have to look forward to.
Or
and Paul like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Rest
in peace. Or like when like if let's say the character never evolved and it was like this version of Undertaker forever, when Zach Gowen comes in, they'll try to present him as having both legs, but like for whatever reason, like Undertaker touches his leg and then Zach comes like, what the fuck? What the
dude? Yo, bro. Oh shit. That'd be awesome. They should have done that and then had like a funeral for the leg.
Yeah. Come on.
A funeral for the leg. That would have been great.
This is the money just speaks for itself.
Literally.
We're printing money over here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of printing of money, the Survivor Series report with Todd Pangill's next. He is next. He runs down the card, which hasn't changed in recent weeks. And we see footage from Superstars where Doink taunted at Bam Bam Bigelow on the big screen. There end up being 4 Doinks on the big screen, just laughing.
They were all Matt Bourne.
Yeah, it's all the same Doink.
That was Matt Bourne.
That leads us to the main event tonight. It is WWF World Champion Yokozuna defending against Bret Hart in a rematch from WrestleMania IX. Arguably the biggest TV match to this point. Certainly the biggest match out of all the special events, whether it be March to WrestleMania, SummerSlam Spectacular. I mean, this was your WrestleMania main event, and we have it on free television.
Yeah, for sure.
So Hart hammers away on Yoko with right hands to start the match. Yoko stops Hart with a slam, but misses an elbow drop. Hart continues on with some basic drop kicks, sending him to the floor. Yoko staggers into the ring post. Again, kind of showing comedy here to the character.
First of all, he like stumbled and walked right into the ring post as if a ghost pushed him into it.
Yeah.
What the fuck was that?
And of course, he obviously put his arm up.
Oh, yeah.
To block it, which even makes it worse.
Yeah.
So Hart low blows Yoko using the middle rope as Yoko is stepping into the ring. Leads to more strikes. Yoko with a clothesline. Hart gets knocked to the floor. Fuji hits Hart over the back with the flag as we go to commercial. Hart fights back with some more strikes in the corner, and that drops Yoko to a knee. Yoko tosses Hart over the tops of the floor. Hart slams Yoko face first onto the ring steps. Fuji distracts the referee to allow Yoko to use the chair on Hart, hitting him over the back. Yoko delivers another chair shot over Hart's head and rolls into the ring. We go to our second commercial of the match. Hart returns to the ring and hammers away on Yoko, but misses a dropkick attempt. Yoko hits a leg drop, and he sends Hart into the corner, but misses a backsplash. Hart comes off the ropes to deliver a few clotheslines and then knocks Yoko off his feet for a 2 count. Fuji gets decked off the apron by Hart. Bret leaps off the middle rope, but is caught by Yoko. He bites his way free of Yoko. Hart boots Yoko and hits a middle rope bulldog for a 2 count. Hart then leaps off the middle rope to hit a forearm drop for yet another near fall. Yoko plants Hart with a belly-to-belly suplex, misses a big splash coming off the ropes. Bret proceeds to lock in the sharpshooter because Yoko is on his stomach, so it's easier to put it on. Owen Hart comes out and distracts the referee, allowing Fuji to hit Hart. Now, I want to point out that they used edited footage.
Oh.
So I don't know if you caught this, and judging by your reaction, you did not. Because if you see him coming out, he's got a jacket on, he's kind of like slapping hands. It's clearly an entrance, not somebody running in. So when you eventually see Owen, he doesn't have a jacket on, and he's being held back by an official on the floor. So, and the reason why they did that was because of the Jerry Lawler situation. They had to edit out some footage because I guess Lawler was involved in some kind of something.
Oh, interesting.
That would explain why that happened.
Okay. I didn't even catch it, to be honest with you.
It's a very quick, like, oh, here's Owen Hart. And then, they quickly glance to it and you cut away.
Ah.
Owen gets in the ring and he attacks Yoko with right hands. He gets the salt bucket and he decks Yoko to the floor. So that would cause a, disqualification. And thus Yoko retains the title. So essentially, Owen Hart has cost Bret Hart the WWF World Championship. Decent match. Quality action. I mean, nothing overly surprising or overly enjoyable, but I would consider this better than Virgil Crush. So unfortunately, that's not going to be match of the night. It almost did, but Bret Yoko, pretty solid. Certainly adds. I mean, I don't know. Doesn't really add to anything. I guess maybe adds a layer to Owen and Bret and their partnership or whichever. But maybe even a callback to that segment with Rogers and Shawn. Bret having the spotlight, Owen maybe trying to get it, but costing his brother.
Right, to like make the moment, be the hero.
Yeah. So I thought it was pretty decent. What did you think about it, Austin?
I agree. I think it was on par with the WrestleMania match. It's definitely obvious to me that Yoko has lost a lot of skill since WrestleMania, but Bret was able to kind of camouflage that a little bit. I think that the finish wasn't horrible. I don't think the match suffered from the finish. Let's put it that way, which is, again, nice to see. I really like that they're tying Owen into things more. Again, it's adding another layer, as you said, to the Bret and Owen relationship. And even though it's a big guy who needs help winning a match, like a salt bucket to win the match, the way it was set up, it was more or less, like you said, quote unquote, Owen's fault. So the ref doesn't see the bucket used by the heels. He sees it used by Owen, causes the disqualification. So I think, when you weigh the whole thing, There was definitely, don't get me wrong, Yoko used his signature nerve hold, time waster. There was definitely down moments in the match. The sharpshooter, when Bret tries to put the sharpshooter on Yoko's huge legs, it looks a little comical. Like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it did.
But, with the whole idea in mind, I don't think it was bad. I think it delivered for being a big match. The crowd was 100% into it. They thought on the middle rope bulldog that was a 3. They were like out of their seats. So it's nice to see. It's nice to see that the heat between Yoko and Bret is still there, despite everything else. There's still chemistry. There's still heat behind that feud. So that was a nice confirmation. I think it's a better match than Yoko's had in quite a long time. And really, Bret is, again, the unsung hero in that.
I would say that this match had more heat than any kind of Luger Yoko match would have.
For sure. Absolutely.
And I think a lot of that has to do with Luger, I mean, not being out of the main event, but he's feuding with like Borga more so than Yoko at this point.
Right.
And Bret's always kind of been at the top of the food chain anyway, and it was certainly a better match than what Luger and Yoko probably would have been able to do.
Yeah, absolutely. No question.
Vince McMahon and Bobby Heenan closed the program with Heenan saying that he can't wait to see what happens to the All-Americans and the Hart family at Survivor Series. Gorilla Monsoon and Jim Ross promote the concept of the pay-per-view. I'm not going to repeat the same old bullshit that we've been hearing for weeks now. Monsoon suggests that Heenan will be hanging from the rafters with the retired jerseys. But that's not it. No, you see Men on a Mission come out and they do a Thanksgiving rap. And, we cut back to McMahon and Heenan. And McMahon's like bobbing to it like he's the cool dad. He's like, yeah, it's Men on a Mission. It's just, it's the ultimate 90s like dad reaction to rap music. And that closes out Survivor Series Showdown.
So just going back to that little closing segment there.
Yeah.
As soon as we fade out of the banter between the two commentary teams, it's almost certain that the action inside the arena is done. Like they're going to send us off the air. That's it. Oh no. As Bob says, we cut back to the arena where good old Men on a Mission are giving us a Thanksgiving themed rap where I'm just like, okay, cool, but please don't show us. And they showed us. And I would say about 13 people were waving their hands with Men on a Mission in the crowd. Thanksgiving Eve, Survivor Series is coming. Like that was the rap.
It was.
If there wasn't enough shit to just shake your head at on this show, they wanted to make sure they slipped in at least just one more for like a go home. There you go. Here's your care package on the way out. They cut to some teens watching on with expressionless faces, sitting in their seats like, really, this shit again? Like, we're over this. And that's how the show closed.
Men on a Mission will be tag team champions. Guaranteed.
I hate to say it, Bob.
Give them all the belts.
I don't think Men on a Mission are over.
Well, you're right. Because when they had a match like in Bushkill, Pennsylvania, I even noted it on it. Like they're over in New York, but seemingly anywhere else is like 60-40. Like 60% don't care, and then 40% are like, yeah, Men on a Mission.
Or in this case, 13 kids were waving their hands.
13 kids, yeah.
Fucking brutal, man. Brutal.
Whoop, there it is. Whoop, there it is.
To kind of put a bow on this one, I'd say as a whole, the action was pretty boring. We got a decent, interview with both teams again. Again, it's the same interviews we've heard about 4 times at this point. A lot of clips. It was almost like a clip show. Like we got a lot of recap video, a lot of filler. Match of the night definitely goes to Bret Yoko. But again, that isn't saying much. It's almost the same match that they've had about 4 times now. And really, there was nothing special tonight other than the Rio Rogers Shawn Michaels segment. I think that's a major standout. I think it's a classic segment. And if, again, you haven't seen it before, you need to go on the network right now and go find it. But other than that, Bob, that's what I had for the Showdown.
Okay, so I'm going to say is probably the worst special edition episodes that they have this year.
I agree. Because the other ones are pretty good.
Yeah. So like SummerSlam Spectacular is the best.
Should have been SummerSlam.
Right. I mean, realistically, you're right. I would put March to WrestleMania second.
Yeah.
And March to WrestleMania 9 is close to being number one just because of the mermaid promo.
Oh man, how could I forget?
That's a close one, but we'll go Spectacular, Mania,
yeah,
and then this. And this one's like not even close.
No, distant third.
Yeah, it's very, very distant. And you were mentioning how there's a lot of clips, or it's a clip highlight kind of show. That is in large part because Jerry Lawler apparently in the original tape of this had a big role on it to promote the Hart family feud, and with his alleged intercourse with a minor and being pulled from television, they had to, I guess, do like an emergency taping and kind of like reshuffle the card. And that is probably why there was so many clips, and also why the Owen Hart run-in was edited the way that it was.
Interesting. Yeah, I had no idea.
But for me, Hart Yoko is a bright spot. The Rio Rogers Shawn Michaels thing, I mean, it's comical to me just because it's so obvious that they're just doing it to be dicks.
Yeah.
That it made me laugh. And then, but I mean, for the most part, this doesn't help my interest in Survivor Series at all.
No.
Like, I'm not going to be, if this is their attempt to try to get people to buy it, I'm not going to be at home and after the show be like, oh my God, I have to get this.
No.
I'm going to get the Elimination Series on pay-per-view. Like, I have to do it.
No.
So it certainly didn't help that. And then, the promos with Foreign Fanatics, All Americans, pretty weak. Nothing new. I don't know. It just felt like a filler week of television for the most part.
Yeah, which is sad because when they promote it as, this super show or whatever, it doesn't help when we see Raw banners and it's in the same arena. We're getting an A and B show basically mixed together.
Yeah.
And your best match is one we have seen before. Still got heat, but we've seen it before. And it doesn't really relate at all to the main event, quote unquote, at Survivor Series. Because Bret is not facing Yoko in any stretch. So, with all that considered, the beginning couple of matches were fucking horrible.
Well, Doink Booger was. Virgil had, a coming out party.
His debutante ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's like you said, I think at the end of the day, did it accomplish its mission of hyping up Survivor Series? No. I don't think so either.
Yeah. So needless to say, disappointing show, not all that entertaining. I thought it was pretty entertaining with our kind of bullshit comments, going like 20 minutes on Virgil and Scorpio's penises. Things along those lines. Hopefully it made it for a more enjoyable listening experience. So before we close it out and we get into Survivor Series, because it's kind of getting late. So we've seen all the shows leading to Survivor Series. Austin, on a scale of 1 to 10, how interested are you into seeing Survivor Series?
I would say a 4 out of 10, probably.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah, because I really do want to see the Adam Bomb and Razor Ramon teams square off. Or I guess I should say IRS team and Razor Ramon teams. I really am interested in that match. I'm interested to see what they end up doing with the main event, because I think they've hyped that just about as much as they could. Other than that, give or take, I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah, I'm curious in the Ramon IRS, as you mentioned, and then I'm also curious to see how Rock and Roll Express and the Heavenly Bodies do.
Yeah,
on pay-per-view.
Yeah,
So.
that might be a sleeper of a match. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I certainly have no interest in like the Four Doinks Bigelow thing, and I mean, really not even the Hart family against Shawn. If it was Lawler, I'm all on board. But unfortunate things have occurred where Lawler got attracted to a 14-year-old and allegedly had sex with her.
Well, and we still don't know who the Knights are.
Right? Yeah,
that doesn't help. If I knew who the Knights are.
Hoping it's Jeff Jarrett, Brian Christopher. And who was the third one we were hoping for? Just somebody good.
There's another young guy too, wasn't there?
I think so. Well, he's so good that we can't remember it.
Right.
But it was somebody. So
yeah.
Should be interesting. You got anything else for this, or do you want to just wrap it up and then we can get right into Survivor Series, which you'll be hearing next week?
Let's get into the meat and potatoes. Let's dive in. We've got the dressing. The table is set. Let's go into the Thanksgiving Eve tradition Survivor Series.
All right. So everybody that's listening, I hope with that description, you don't turn into Bastion Booger and you just go nuts. Because if you do, I'll have to put hot sauce on it and that will probably stop you. So maintain your excitement. And the next week, we'll be checking out Survivor Series. In the meantime, this has been Survivor Series Showdown. For Austin Skinner, I'm Bob Collins Jr., and this has been ICOPOD.
Yo, bro.